Guess I can't distinguish between pleasure and relief. Pour me down with your incessant need. I am way too tired to fight with you. I'll give in, you win, you win.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I figured I'd go longer just to piss some people off because some people are like, your introduction's too long. So I just... Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome out to another episode of What's Your Question? I'm going to be your tour guide, Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. Welcome out everybody on this grand Saturn day. We're going to go right into a Sunday, and we're going to have a lot of fun tonight, or maybe this morning, wherever you're at in this world. And once again, I'm wearing my Ray-Bans to remind you that you're in a movie. Okay, you're in a simulation. This reminds us of that. Okay, this reminds us of that. So wherever you're at in the world, man, you could have been anywhere. You decided to come here, and I really appreciate all the support. Got a lot of new faces in here already. We have another moderator. I just put Pamela Swan. Big shout out to Steven Segura. And we now have a female to balance out that. We have the yin-yang moderators going on. It's Pamela and Steven. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just take these off to get used to the light here. And I'm going to be your spiritual explorer. That's what my shirt says. There you go, spiritual explorer. And we're just going to have a hell of a lot of fun tonight doing this What's Your Question? All right. And I have a lot of information to share with all of you. I had a profound revelation personally for me at my casita here in Mexico, and I'm going to share it with all of you. I'm probably going to do a video on it and put it on the channel, so everybody else can see it. And we think in pictures, so the visuals are nice to have, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm going to get into that in a second here. I was listening to, big shout out to Jordan from Waters Above Crypto. I was listening to some of his fine words, some of his spicy words earlier today. So that was a lot of fun. Maybe you got to go over there and join in and get his breath of fresh air. So I'm going to be, once again, I'm going to be looking over here because this is where my chat box is coming in. Okay. And I'm going to be doing my best to go back and forth. I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can. But you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here, you're a returning subscriber probably. Thank you for your support. You know how I roll. I go on my rants, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just a lot of fun for me. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, man, we got the 7 of spades today. I got my Looney Tunes deck out today. Each night before I go to sleep, my ritual is I pull 3 cards from the deck and place them by my bedside on my nightstand. I got some selenite there that represents the Selene, the moon, and I try to check my dreams, see what happens. So, ladies and gentlemen, how's everybody doing? We got the Green Box Detox. I wore this shirt in honor of that. Today, Saturday, January 7th is the official start date for the Green Box Detox. If you are somebody who is part of that, congratulations. Some of you are returning to do it again. This is Green Box Detox Part 2 or group number 2. We got a Telegram group for support. We got Zoom support coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I'm pretty stoked about all this. We had a really good turnout last time, the Green Box Detox. And this is, part of my gift to the world, man, my humanitarianism, my sharing with the world to help the world out to make it a better place, to make it the utopia that I see it. And I'm not all utopia, folks. Got to have that balance, that sliding scale. I hope you checked out. I have my new series, just released it, called Decoding Shorts. Decided to start to bring in some really, I'm trying to do it less than 10 minutes because of the attention spans of people, and I got some good feedback. So they were a lot of fun. And it was on the word identity. Can I see your ID, please? And it's tied to, the ego, your demon inside of you. Be the best little devil you can be. So that was a lot of fun. I'm going to be doing some more of that content. I got some good feedback. I really appreciate all of you supporting that. So if you haven't checked it out, please do so. So we got a lot of some new names here, but some great return. Man, big shout out to Sam and their podcast over in the great city of London. I think you guys are in London, right? England, anyway. Let go of ego, be more spiritual. That's right. You're never going to get rid of the ego because it's what you desire. What do you desire? Oh, you think your spirit needs to go have that slice of pizza? You think your spirit needs to go have, go watch the movie? Nope. Spirit needs the desires of the ego to navigate and function through this reality. So you can't eliminate it. I mean, if we all eliminated the ego, we would all die out, because in order for the reality to move forward, people need to hump, man. People need to procreate and create babies, man. That's how this reality works. Then you just get all these people, it's just so funny because you get all these people, not all these people, you get a lot of people now, they're on this, abstain and raising this and doing that. And that's awesome. But let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, without any humping going on, there ain't any babies, and without any babies, we have no future. This game never stops. This reality never stops. And the game needs players. And as I mentioned, I had this revelation just not too long ago about children, and what if I'm talking to you out there, what if you are somebody who incarnated and you're supposed to give birth to a child that will change the world in a major way? What if that's supposed to be in the cards for you? I mean, if you think about it, man, some of these high profile names, some of these people that are game changers on the world stage that incarnate, I broke down my scripted reality part 3, I think it was Martin Luther King. And I broke him down, and he was playing the Jesus Christ superstar. He was playing the Jesus Christ character, Martin Luther King was. And, then people come in, well, he was controlled this. How do you know? It doesn't matter because I did his astrological chart. He was destined to be assassinated, but his job was a Jesus Christ position. He was the good guy changing the world, trying to end racism and equality and, doing these kinds of things. That was his job. Who gave birth to him? Go study MLK. Who gave birth to, his first name was Michael. It wasn't even Martin. It was, his birth name was Michael. Archangel Michael was pretty obvious. Who birthed him into the world? Imagine your parents birthing that person into the world to make those kinds of changes. So again, I have such big variances in the way my mind works now. And what I'm about to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, all you great decoders out there around the world, something very profound that I got to experience and witness in my own casita here in Mexico. And it's just amazing. Let's get into some of your questions and then I'll come back to that. Jack of Hearts, what happens when they sterilize man? I don't think that'll ever happen. So you're asking a question that is maybe, but a lot of people humping and making babies, man. And this is the thing, is a lot of people make babies and like they bring them into this world and they just can't even afford that. It's like, there has to be some kind of ethics involved. Projector, so we have human design in the house. Well, Lizzie, if you're asking about the projector, the best thing to do so you can retain the information is go type in human design projector and go read about it. There are going to be millions of opinions that you can sift through. 5 types in the human design projector. Projector, the main construct of the projector. If you're a projector, you wait for the invitation. So I can't tell you how to go about doing that. You got to go read about it and educate yourself. We all have these main themes. Like I'm a generator, okay? The generators make up the brunt of the human design system. The generators are the workaholics, the ones that are the banging the drum, the Energizer bunnies. You work 8 hours, they work 12. If you're a generator, you probably have gotten blamed that you don't pay enough attention to your partner. You probably have gotten accused of working too much because you're a generator. See, your job as a generator is to go and create stimuli on the world stage. If you're a projector, your job is to wait for invitations from people, but you're here to be a guide. Projectors are guides, as are the reflectors. And then you get the manifestors and the manifesting generators, who are the ones that, out of any type, everybody should do it anyway, but out of any type, these are the types that should be doing meditation and creative visualization. Manifesting generator and manifestors. You guys and gals, you literally have the genie lamp in your hand. But people waste, they don't utilize these tools, these amazing tools that we have. Could the voice in your head be a so below of something greater? Your brain is a transmission station. The word feedback in numerology is 30. Just like the word role play, or the words role play. Just like the word placenta. How about that? Placenta's 30. Role play is 30. Feedback is 30. Demiurge is 30. Jehovah is 30. Santa Claus is 30. So if you just look at the placenta, that goes from that to the umbilical cord to the belly button, which you once were connected to. That's the Trinity right there. Placenta, umbilical cord, baby. Placenta's 30. 30. That's why this 30 is so big, and it's tied to the element zinc. And it's also tied to the element phosphorus, tied to Lucifer, the light bringer. So what do you think you're tied to? I know people get crazy that they think I'm nuts because they're so programmed with what the church has told them. They can't break out of that. It would shatter their whole reality. I'm a manifester. What does this mean? Well, go look it up. Manifester. Manifestors in human design. You're here to manifest things. You got the genie lamp in your hand. So if you start to pay attention and own that space, you'll start to see that, like, oh my God, I was thinking of that and it happened. Oh my God, I was thinking that and I was thinking about them and, I heard from them or I saw a sign or, manifester. But you got to go look at other layers as well. You got to look at, all the gates that are open and on, your connecting channels. There's a lot of moving parts to the human design. But the manifestors, all you manifestors and manifesting generators, you're here that's straight up. What does it mean to manifest? Well, I mean, it's kind of a very simple answer and a simple question, a simple answer. You're here to manifest stuff. So then you would say, okay, well, now I'm going to be strategic about it. What do I want to manifest? What do you want to manifest? Well, now guess what you're going to start to use? Your demon-like self. You're going to be the best little devil you can be. And now you're going to get to use your desires. So what do you desire? All of us have it. We just got to get away from these scary adjectives to describe. The subject is all that matters. You're the subject. And that's all that matters. Someone's asking me about ayahuasca. I've tried ayahuasca one time. I got really nothing from it. I didn't purge, so that may have been the reason why I didn't get anything from it. But it's a tool. See, if you start to look at these things as archetype, I look at everything as an archetype. Like, what is an archetype? It's a living entity. For instance, this water here, this is an archetype. That's why you can talk to it and program it. It's an archetype. So ayahuasca is an archetype. Corn, green beans, sweet potatoes, the church that you may go to, the books that you read, the cell phone that you have. This is an archetype. And in this reality, it really thrives off of one thing, and that is acknowledgement. That should be one of the staple words in our vocabulary. Everybody should know acknowledgement. Because everybody living that has two lungs and a heart, what do you want? You want to be acknowledged. We all desire to be acknowledged. Some of us, through our code, when we get acknowledged, we will go and it will propel us to create more. It's an incentive to create more. If you create something and someone says, oh my God, that's amazing, and it actually starts to change people's lives, it's going to get you excited about life. And it's going to motivate you to create more because you get acknowledged. Acknowledgement is where it's at, folks. A lot of you need the acknowledgement. It's okay. But I am so Matt Kubis, I'm the ayahuasca expert. I am no expert with these plant medicines. Long-time user of cannabis. I use it very rarely now. And that's it. I honestly, I don't need anything anymore, to be honest with you. I enjoy having, some wine I like alcohol, man. I like to have some tequila, Long Island iced tea. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I just have one, I'll go out and have one if I want to have one, when I indulge. I don't do it all the time, and I think these things help you tap in. If you abuse it, you can start to go down to the bottom of the barrel. That's when you get into some trouble. I mean, I'm ready to do another. I really would like to do an ayahuasca ceremony, but I want to do it in a comfortable surrounding. When I did my ayahuasca, it was a shitty environment. I was told, show up with a yoga mat. And the place I went to was somebody's house, and they had like, you know, a stone floor. I mean, I laid my yoga mat on there. I mean, I got to lay on this mat for 6 to 8 hours, and I'm not even comfortable. It sucked. Now I know what I know, man, I'd be like in a bed or in a hammock or something, you know, that's going to be super comfortable. The great thing about the ceremony that I did is there was really some amazing musicians there. And what I got out of that was when they were playing the music, there were like layers going on. I could sense the layers. Like, you know, somebody was freaking out in the corner. That was one layer. They're having their bouts, and then there was the music playing, and that was another layer on top of them freaking out. Then there was somebody just hysterically laughing. Then that was another layer. So that was the cool thing. I saw the gradients and the layers of the whole ceremony, but that was it. I didn't have any profound breakthroughs. You know, for me, if you want a profound breakthrough, you go do like a personal development. If you ever get a chance to go do Landmark, and not do it online, if you ever get a chance to go do Landmark Worldwide, that company in person, man, I've done it 3 times. I want to go do it again. That is like 3.5 days of like pure bliss. Getting rid of your baggage, getting rid of your shadows, getting rid of your fears. It's pretty awesome. And you get to see through other people and have some resonations with those people. I've been to Born Rich, Bob Proctor, live. I got to see him in Los Angeles. That was like, that was amazing. So I've been to some really cool personal development seminars, and I think those are really, really good for people. Sally says there's a lot of ceremonies held in Tulum. That's what there is. I was just down in Tulum not too long ago. I have a friend who's down there. He's in real estate, etc. A good friend of mine from San Diego. And he's inviting me down there again. But it's like if you want to be around a booming town in Mexico, Tulum's the place to be. But it's really been becoming Americanized there. I just was kind of blown away at some of the prices there. I mean, being in Mexico, you wouldn't think that's the case, but that is the case because it's so booming there. But it has a really broad array of things to do. You can if you want to go party, you know, if you're a young kid and you want to go to party in the night scene, they got that. But if you want to go do ceremonies, if you want to be by the beach, if you want to do mushrooms by the beach, if you want to do yoga, if you want to do Reiki, you want to learn, they have all that stuff there as well. So it's a very cultural, diverse city. And next year, they're opening up their own airport. So you will not have to fly into Cancun anymore. Cancun being, you know, about 2 hours away. 2 hours north, so they're going to have their own airport. Cancun's probably going to lose a lot of business, but Tulum is just going to become a mega center. It already has. It's just huge. They got tons of places to live there. I mean, it's a real beautiful place, to be honest. It really, really is. I don't speak Spanish, a little bit here and there. I pick up words. I've been here over 2 years. I mean, you would think I'd be able to speak it pretty good, but no. I have my translator, my little Google translator I use. That helps out. A lot of people here in Mexico speak English, so it's pretty easy. Yeah, Tulum is not quaint. If you're looking for something like, I'm here in Puerto Morelos, this is like probably one of the hidden gems of Mexico because it's, 15 minutes from the airport, but it's a small fishing town here, and there's a lot of families. It's quiet. That's why I love being here. It's super quiet. Tulum is like, you hear music going all the time. It's party central. So you gotta be in a specific area to have peace and quiet. So it's definitely becoming a mecca. That is for sure. But they're paving all the roads down there. I mean, they're just really, they're making it very modernized. They really, really are. They're doing an amazing job. But yeah, it's a really special place to go to. And if you go down even further, you have Bacalhau, which is amazing. It's a lagoon, freshwater lagoon there. Oh man, you know, and it's just so pristine there. That's a place to go and live if you want to kind of be off the beaten path of kind of all the hustle and bustle of Tulum. Bacalhau. The sewer system in Mexico is whack. Never mind Tulum. You get used to the smells here in Mexico. You know, I know this place around town now. So sometimes when I drive my bike, I ride my bike everywhere because it's so close. I know certain places where I have to breathe through my mouth because I'm going to go through a spot that's not going to be so pleasant. But that's what you get here in Mexico. And then you got some other towns, ladies and gentlemen, for Mexico, like Santos and Crystal and Nick. They're all moving next month, February 1st. They're going down to San Cristobal, which is in the mountains of Chiapas, which is down by the Guatemalan border, and it's, you know, it stands for the Christ, the land of the Christ, San Cristobal. It's beautiful. You're in the mountains way up, kind of like Denver, you know, the Mile High City. You're way up. It's very green and lush, very mountainous. They got pine trees. I mean, it's just a really beautiful area, but you're not near any water. You know, you're really away from the airport. Is like an hour and 15 minutes away. So you got to take these things into consideration depending on what your life is all about. So you go to San Cristobal. I lived in San Miguel de Allende, which is, I mean, I'd go back there in a heartbeat. Amazing, amazing, amazing Mexican town. And that is, you're away from, you know, you're in the mountains again. You're in the central part of Mexico, 3 hours north of Mexico City, an hour and a half from the airport. But it's its own town. It's super cultural. The architect is just amazing. Cobblestone streets. I mean, it's just amazing. And it's, you know, there's no temptations, if you will, there, right? It's a place if you really want to get away and be a hermit, be a monk, you know, live a life of, you know, the hermit mode and reset yourself. That place is amazing. You can get a place to live there in San Miguel for around $500 a month, you know, with utilities. So if you want to get a really nice place, it'll be just almost $1,000 for almost a brand new place in San Miguel de Allende. Highly recommended, that place. A lot of expats live there. Pretty beautiful. I would go back there in a heartbeat. Probably one of the prettiest, amazing cities I've ever lived at. I've lived all over the world, so pretty much. I haven't been to Oaxaca. I know Oaxaca is pretty awesome too. Yep. Am I going to be at the Secret Garden event? I have no idea what that is. What is the Secret Garden event? I don't know what that is. So whatever's asking, please help me understand. I keep seeing 117 everywhere. Does it mean I'm on the right path? Well, here's the first thing you should take into consideration. You're just on the path. There is no right or wrong path. Try to get rid of those adjectives. You're never gonna stop using the adjectives. It's just the path. You're on the path. And life is like this. It's the snake. Up and down, up and down. No one wants to be going down because you're either in creation or dissolvement. There's no such thing as inertia. You may get to that point in the center of the sine and cosine wave where you hit that inertia. You may stand still for a little bit, but you really never stand still because your body's always moving, your mind's always moving, life's always moving. So you're either in a mode of, you can sustain for sure, but you're either, like if you have a business, if you're a business owner, well, the position of that business is to create, to generate. So it's moving. There's no inertia with your business. Otherwise, you would close your doors soon because you need finances to keep the doors open. Sometimes a business starts to dissolve and you start to go down. The wave goes down and you see it coming, and then you may have to file for bankruptcy, or you may have to close your doors. And a lot of people get bummed out, but like if you know consciously how this reality works, it's just a stage in your life. And you're going to transmute the energy, if you willingly will do that, to move into a new layer of now moving up and living a life of being constructive. And these are layers that you can take into consideration with your life path. I've gone through the life path so many times, the soul contract, which is you get that by adding up your entire birthday and reducing it down to a single digit. You're going to have a double digit. You got to take that into consideration. But this is what your soul came here to do through the rules of numerology. Your life path. Right? So if you know what your life path is, allow it to guide you on what it is you desire. So like, if you're a one life path, your job is to be the seed planter. You can correlate it to Aries. Do you have any planets in Aries? Do you have any planets in your first house? You can properly synchronize astrology into that. Your cards, the numbers of your cards, et cetera, et cetera. But you're always going to be on, to go back to the question, there is no right or wrong path. These are just silly concepts that we use to define the subject. It's just the path. It's just the path. It's either going to be very fine-tuned or it's going to be very broad stroke. When you have a path that is very broad stroke, it could be a lot of confusion. A lot of chaos. Chaos needs a lot of room. But when you get it confined, you get it detailed in, and you get dialed into the code, your experiences in life will be much more formidable for you. You'll have more progression when you want to start to use these adjectives of, am I on the right path or the wrong path? You're on the path. There are no mistakes. There are no accidents. We just use these silly adjectives. You're just making moves on the journey of life. So if you're starting to see numbers, like you asked about the 117, start to keep notes of it. Look at the time on your phone when you see the 117. Where did you see it? What address are you at when you see it? What time was it? What song was playing on the radio when you saw it? You got to start paying attention. This is how you decode your life and the reality around you. But a lot of people don't do that because life gets in the way. But when you're a decoder and you're consciously in that moment of the now moment and you're constantly looking around you and you start to see these numbers, some people get driven crazy. But I certainly couldn't tell you what that 117 is going to mean for you. Because the message you're going to get from the 117 can be completely different from the message that somebody else is going to get. There is no like cement structure for the 117, like it's this and that's it. No, that's crazy thinking. When we spray, like take cologne or perfume, when you spray it on your skin may not like it. In that context, maybe it just doesn't jive with your pheromones. But then you give it to somebody else, like, oh my God, this is my favorite, this is my signature brand, my signature perfume. So you can't just use a number and say, okay, well, I'm seeing this number. Oh, and then you get these, it's so funny because you'll go online and you'll say, oh yeah, if you're seeing this angelic number, it means this. Well, that's the opinion of the writer that's writing it. That's what they think it means. That's why when I do my videos, I say, these are my opinions and truths. They may not be true for you. I'm just a tour guide showing you the amusement park. I'm not going to tell you what rides to get on. Your rides may differ from my amusement park. Have I decoded runes? I started to get into them a little bit, but I shelved it. I don't remember. I didn't have no interest in it. I mean, I'm still still trying to really dial myself into the tarot and the cards of illumination and alchemy and stuff like that. And that's a lot. That's enough to kind of get dialed into. Are those layers right there? Sylvia, I don't understand your question. I'm messy and disorganized. Okay, so when you consciously aware of what you're doing, that's a win. Because you're now observing your code, right? You're like, oh my God, some people are just messy. Like I like to cook. And when I cook, I make a mess. Can I change that? Yeah, but why do I want? I'll just find somebody to clean it up, or I'll just clean it up when I'm done. I enjoy making the mess because I enjoy cooking, and that's just the way it is for me. And then, you may end up becoming in a relationship with somebody, and they're like maybe a Virgo, and there's a lot of Virgos are really OCD. Like germophobics. They're like, take your shoes off before you come into my house, except. That kind of stuff. There are these people. And so when you start to, partner up with this person and maybe you move in and you get into a partnership, they may not like you making a mess. And I see it a lot. You know what people do? They'll get into arguments with their partners. Because the partner makes a mess, that's just how they've always done it. And the other partner can't stand it because that's not how they do it. And then there's a clash, there's a battle. And that's not the way it should be. Like, why do I need to change to your standards? Just let me be me. If you don't like that, then you need to make amends with it. Like, why do I have to change for you? I mean, it's different if somebody is, a raging alcoholic or something and they're abusive. That's different. So there are things that, obviously you have to take into consideration, but harmless little things. And then partners they'll try to change you. Why? You just cause friction and static in your life. Yeah, I'll be doing the Zoom calls in just a little bit. I'll be adding that in just a little bit. So thank you for reminding me, Space Monkey Mafia. Like, cool avatar name. Can you talk about the Queen of Hearts? Well, yeah, the Queen of Hearts is card number 12, tied to the Queen of Cups. It's kind of the Queen of Dreams. It's the Maker of Dreams card. The Queen of Hearts is the queen that was down in Alice in Wonderland and wanted to take her head off. So they made her evil, right? But it's tied to the Hangman because it's the 12th card. So it's tied to Pisces, the Queen of Hearts. But the main aspect of the Queen of Hearts, you have the King of Hearts, who is the master of love. And the king is only one half without the queen. So you need the queen. The queen comes in, and when you bring the king and queen together, they complete this mastery of love. So, and the queen is, of course, those of you that are females, queens, you're here to give offspring. Not necessarily have a child, but your ideas. Like, you could become an artist and create things. Because you're here to procreate, not necessarily bring a life into this world, but you're here to procreate. And the Queen of Hearts, through the context of the cards of illumination, it's the Queen of Dreams. So you're here to, so what are you dreaming? Do you pay attention to your dreams? Can you enhance your dreams with the Queen of Hearts? And that's going to be tied to the element magnesium. So you can bring medical astrology into this. And I went over this with my Astro Alchemy. I didn't get a lot of views on that one, but it's got a lot of information that I brought out that's kind of groundbreaking, I think, anyway. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bringing stuff out that's already come out. I've never seen it before, but it's information that you probably never seen before. And it's introducing the cards tied into your astrological sign, tied into your alchemy, what element you are. And if you have a lot of planets in a specific house and you have your life path there and you look at where the alchemy, you could be deficient in one of these areas. There is such a thing as medical astrology. Okay? Seven of Spades, that's today's card. Seven of Spades, okay, so in the tarot, it's going to be a little bit different. We'll talk about this because this is today's card, okay, for Saturday. See if I can get so again, you got to realize when you're taking the tarot and the cards of illumination and you're comparing the two, they're two different systems, but yet they're very, very similar. There it is. Okay. So the Seven of Spades, which is today's card, sevens always mean the crown. Doesn't matter what suit it is. It always means the crown. Okay? If you're seven, if you have a seven birthday, if you have a seven life path, you're an analyst. That's what the seven means. 6 days of creation, rest on the seventh day. What would you be doing on the seventh day of rest? Maybe going to church. But if you look at Sunday, typically it's the day of family, right? Traditionally, the seventh day is the day where you're just like, why is football on Sunday? Because it's the day of rest and reflection, right? So 7 is a day of reflection. If you're God and you create the world on day 7, you're going to look at your creation and you're going to analyze it and you're going to critique it. So the 7 of Spades is a card of completion, and it's tied to the crown. This one right here, it's card number 46. If you've been paying attention to my research, there's a loop that I found, an anomaly that I found in the 3.141 pi sequence, which is 19, 37, 46. And this is tied to Earth. So this is the card, it's tied to man. Even though man is the 5, the pentagram, and you get the 6, which is carbon, you still have the 7. You have to take into consideration the 7 here. And this 7 of Spades is going to be a very this is the mystic, this card. Because the spade means human being. It means earth. In the tarot, it's going to be different. But the 7 of Spades, these came first. So any 7 of hearts, 7 of diamonds, 7 of clubs, 7 of spades, you're going to be an analyst. If you're a 7 life path, you're going to be an analyst. If you're a 7 birthday, you're probably going to be an analyst. You're going to be looking at things all the time and you're going to be trying to break them down to try to figure out what's working, what's not working. It's part of your job, right? Part of your responsibility. So the 7 of Spades, which is today's card 46, tied to the game of life. The words Jesus and Lucifer in numerology equal 46. This is what they become together as the yin yang. The critic, the analyzer of life, the completion, the crown, the 144,000. This one. And then the tarot has a much different perspective on the 7 of Spades. It's the 7 of Swords. And this card right here, the first thing that most tarot readers will tell you this card means is deception. Because if you look there, you'll see that this guy's holding the swords and he's like kind of taking them in his hands and he's kind of like trying to, steal them away. Because 1937-46 is the loop that repeats, and it's just the loop that we may never get out of. So if this card means the game of life, and we never get out of it, well, then it's gonna be all about deceit. It's gonna get you. This card, deception. You're being deceived. How am I being deceived? Because you don't know how the reality works. See, this reality doesn't want you to know how it works. I think that this reality goes off of the yin yang. I had mentioned this before. I had said that what if the cosmos is having a dream? I'm going to be doing a short on this, on lucid dreaming, because it's big. But what if God is just having a dream? And just take into context what I'm about to tell you as a possibility. If you take yourself as the example, you and me, we all go to sleep. Okay, we all go to sleep. When you go to sleep, you are not operating anymore. You may be in your dreams, but you're not operating anymore. You're laying in bed, laying on the floor, however you sleep, you're non-operative. Okay, you're not creating anymore. Not through the way you do when you are awake. So what if, when the God, whatever created this reality, what if it goes to sleep? And its sleep doesn't last 8 hours. Maybe it lasts 1,000 years. And then when it goes to sleep, it already wrote the script on what's going to happen. And then we end up playing out the script. We may have some free will in here, and the free will ends up, deciding on which path or journey you're going to go on. There's many, going to be running parallel universes of the choices that you may make through free will, if that is the case. And then the God wakes up just like you wake up. And when you wake up, sometimes you turn the news on, or sometimes you get a phone call from a friend and like, oh my God, did you see what happened? There was a mass shooting. Or did you see what happened? Kelly got killed. Or did you see what happened? This guy got fired from this. Or did you see what happened? Elon Musk bought Twitter or whatever. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't know I was sleeping. But when you wake up, man, life starts to move, and then you start to get in motion again. So that same example, what if the God goes to sleep? We head into the dark age. What is the dark age? Darkness. What typically through the regular regular circadian rhythms, you go to sleep when it's dark out. Dark age. Then when the sun comes up, it's time to wake up. So you wake up and you start to get active. You start to create. So maybe when we go into the golden age, the God wakes up and starts to look at the reality and be like, woo, okay, well, that got a little out of hand over there. That got a little out of hand over there. And then it ushers in the changes to reset everything and make it back to the way it once was. Same thing when you get sick. When you get a sickness or disease in your body and you go get a diagnosis from the doctor, what do? The doctor puts you on a protocol to heal the body, or you put yourself on a protocol to heal your body. See, you don't know how to heal it unless you have the diagnosis. Sometimes you can heal it without getting a diagnosis, but a lot of people, they go to the doctor or they'll self-diagnose online, and then they'll get a protocol and they'll go in there and they'll take supplements or whatever they got to do to correct the body back. So if this is how this works in our reality, maybe the anthropomorphic cosmos, maybe all the planets, maybe they work as a unit, as a team. And when they wake up, that's when you're going to get the golden age. And it's always going to be, it has to be yin yang, folks. It has to be. I mean, if you go back, my parents were, I don't know about you, my parents were born in the 1940s. And if I go back and I watch videos online of 1940s, 1950s, I know there was still like devilish things going on. I know there was still people sinning on the world stage. But if you compare it to now, there's no comparison. Because you're moving through time, and time is the devil. What does time do? Makes things decay, makes people sin, gives you more chances to sin. That's the devil. The time is the devil. Okay? That's why Saturn is Satan, which is Chronos, which is time, Father Time. Over time, you will sin. Over time, you will eventually face one thing, and that is death. That's why he's eating his children, because it's time eats you. You decay. So that was my long explanation of that. That was a rant. That was my first one. Tina says, chased by demons over and over in my sleep. Okay. Do you keep track of your sleep? Do you keep a journal? I got a buddy of mine. He's been tracking his dreams for years. And see, when you track your dreams and then you figure out, like, what are you eating for these periods? Are you eating something that's maybe lowering your frequency, or what are the habits you're doing? Tracking your life. See, life is really like, before I got into the mystical arts and all these great platforms, I was heavily invested into strategy. I was a life strategist. So like, I can take anybody's life here. I'm very confident with this. I can take any one of you. I could do a one-on-one with you, and I can change your life if you're willing to do it. You know how I can do it? It's very simple. I want to know everything that you do every day. Let's go through. Go through all your habits every day, and I guarantee you'll find it. Why you're doing the things you're doing, why you're getting the results you're getting. Let's go through all the things you do habitually. To the simplest little things, like your health, like this is something that I found out personally myself, right? So for years, when I brushed my teeth, I habitually always went on the bottom right first. That was the first place I would brush when my toothbrush went in my mouth, down here. And what do I have here that I'm now having to fix? I have erosion of my gums because I went in there and I brushed it the most. It got the most attention. So what would I do from a strategic aspect? I would consciously be in the bathroom and I would not go on that side anymore. I would maybe put the toothbrush on the top of my teeth instead of the side of the gums. I would maybe gently brush on the sides. This is how you strategically make your life better. But most people are not in the space of brushing their teeth when they're brushing their teeth. They're thinking about what they're going to do tomorrow. They're thinking about if they're going to get a good night's sleep. They're thinking about getting laid. They're thinking about, I got to take the kids, I got to get them milk. Whatever. They're thinking about something. They're not there thinking about their teeth. So you're not acknowledging your teeth. When's the last time and this is where you get into gratitude. Being grateful for everything in your life. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. And this is how you change your life, through looking at your habits and then making one adjustment per month. Not trying to do it all at one time. You know, the New Year's resolutions are here now. And the statistics are horrible. I think it's like 80% of people that end up doing New Year's resolutions, they never finish them. The reason why, majorly why, is because they try to take on too many changes in their life. Some people like, yeah, I gotta get rid of 50 pounds. And they haven't been to the gym, they don't exercise, they don't eat good, they don't take care of themselves, they drink too much, except whatever, and they try to just stop everything all at one time. It's just gonna blow up in your face. You gotta do baby steps. There's a really funny movie by one of my favorites, with Bill Murray, called What About Bob? And there was his therapist, and he has a book called Baby Steps. If you haven't seen that movie, man, it's one of the best movies. What About Bob? One of the best ones. Anyways. Keith says, I ignore all my bad habits, that thinking that they're not going to go away on their own, man. Sometimes you can get rid of them through establishing other habits that will demand time from you. But folks, if you want to make changes in your life from a strategic standpoint, take one day, maybe tomorrow, day number 7, right? From the typical standpoint of Sunday being the 7th day, and make it a priority tomorrow to wake up, get your day started, and pay attention, and then write down all your habits you do every day. Everything. I'm talking about what you eat, what products that you use. Like, I hope that everybody here doesn't use a toothpaste that has fluoride in it. I hope you're past that stage now. That should be standard for you. No more fluoride toothpaste, right? This is, what kind of toothpaste do you use? What brand do you use? When's the last time you changed your toothbrush out? You know? I mean, these are all things you can do to change your life. But it starts with you being authentic with yourself, writing and mapping everything out and taking a look at it. And then figuring out, okay, what change am I going to make this week? What brand am I using? Right now I'm using Desert Essence Tooth Whitening. It's a white and blue. Desert Essence. That's what I'm using right now. It's good. They still make fluoride toothpaste. They still make water with fluoride in it. I was in Florida this past spring. I went to the grocery store. I was in Fort Lauderdale or in that area. I went to the store and I literally accidentally bought a gallon of water that was made for babies and it had fluoride in it. Enhanced with fluoride for your baby. Crazy, man. Fluoride in tap water. Well, then get a, like I have a filter on my shower. Get a filter on your shower. Tracy Patriot, I'm a Jack of Clubs. Jack of Clubs is the 24th card in the deck. So if you have a name that equals 24, you can read the Jack of Clubs and you're probably going to resonate with some of that information. 24 is tied to the letter X. The Jack of Clubs is a card of the mind. It's the knight of the mind. It's the Jack that goes into the battles. The knight on the chessboard that does the bidding of the king and queen. So the Jack of Clubs are very fierce people. Not all of them, but I'm going on averages. So you can be really fiery and hot. You may like to get into debates and divisions. You like to chase the reality and challenge the reality, because that Jack is the one that initiates the circumstances of the action on the world stage. The Jack of Clubs is the mind suit. So you have the Jack of Hearts, which is fire, and then you have the Jack of Clubs, which is air. So it's a movement card. A lot of movement, the Jack of Clubs. So you like to rush, like the knight in the tarot, the Jack of Clubs is a Jack of Wands. And that Jack's on a horse with its hind legs up. So it's a card of movement, a lot of movement, that Jack. Not as much as the Jack of Swords, but the Jack of Clubs is a card of movement, change, 24, the chromosomes, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so let me share with all of you. Let me share all of, I told you I would be sharing something with all of you, something very, very profound that really has revolutionized my way of thinking. And just happened the other day. Now, for the longest time here in Mexico, I live in a brand new building, but the building's of course settling, and I have those little brown ants. Now, I've always been a fan of ants growing up. I remember as a kid, I would feed them. I would get them bugs or bologna or whatever. I would just kind of experiment to see what they would eat. So when I moved into this place, no one had been here. So I was like, cool, I'm not going to have any. Well, that I started having ants. And you know, the ants here where I'm at, maybe some of you can relate, they force you to keep yourself really clean, because anything that I leave out, forget it. You get a trail of ants. And there's just only so much toleration I have with this. Sometimes you wake up and there's a trail, and it's like you forget to take something out in your garbage, and there's the trail. And sometimes you get mad. I do anyway. I get mad. I try to keep my cool, and I try to laugh or remind myself that life's a joke. But I'm human. And again, if we're made in the image of the God, just like it. Different format, but we have the yin yang, the GODs get the yin yang. This whole reality has the yin yang. It's all based on duality. It's all based upon the predator and the prey. So anyway, I have these ants, and in my bathroom, there's a spot where they come out of where the it's all stone here. So there's a place where they started to come out. And so I would just let them, whatever, and I would feed them. I would go I would just see what kind of food they're gonna, and I know they like cheese. I know they like sugar, you know, the typical stuff that most people know ants like. They're carnivores too, or they're omnivorous because they eat everything. But they'll definitely eat an insect. And so for weeks and weeks now, probably for months now, I've been testing, dropping food there and feeding them. It makes me happy. I don't know, you know, like they got families too. You're helping the colony out. It's not hurting me. So like I don't know, I've always related to the ant. So then I started to get spiders, and I don't kill the spiders. Occasionally I'll take them outside, you know, move them outside, but I won't step on them and kill them. That's not what I do. But in my bathroom, they're behind the door, and I have this wall, and in the corner of the wall, there was this, typical spider with the big abdomen, and it started to get offspring. So I had little babies, and they would be in the corners, and I would see the dead carcasses, which I'd have to vacuum up. And this is nature now playing out. So the spider is the predator. And I wondered, I'm like, and the ants are just, when I put the food out, the ants, they attack the food, and they pay no attention to the spider. And there's this carnage of dead insects below the spider's web in the corner. So you would think the ants know that it's there. But yet there's all these dead carcasses of ants, obviously, and flies and whatever else it catches. So spiders can be very useful. But it is a straight up predator. It's an apex predator. Well, I don't know if it's an apex predator, but it's a predator. Could say it's an apex predator. So anyway, the revelation I had was the other night. I don't know what got into me, but I went in there and there was like 3 baby spiders, and then you had the big mama in the corner, which, is very small. And then you had all the ants and all these dead carcasses. And so the ant is the prey. The ant is being preyed upon. So you would think and correlate that to, we are the ants. And what's the predators? Who are the predators in this reality? Well, what I decided to do the other night, I don't know why, but I ended up taking one of the little smaller spiders, and I just flicked it down onto because I was feeding the ants and there was a ton of them there, and I just pushed the spider down. It's like me interfering now with the whole nature and the whole cycle of nature. Now I'm doing an intervention. So I flick the spider down and it runs off, and it's like, tries to get the hell out of there really fast. I push it back. And so the ants are trying to get it, but the spider's too fast. And then finally, I don't know what happened, but it tries to play as dead, and the ants attack it, and that's it. Dead spider. So I did it with the other two. Now again, there's this predator in the corner eating all these ants, and these ants aren't trying to hurt anybody, right? The ant is not really a predator in the sense of like the spider is. But then you had this spider in there, and you know, every week I do my Cinderella duties. I mop my floor, vacuum it. It's a small place, it's easy to do. But I go in there and there's these dead carcasses, you know? I can see them in the corners from the spider. So I don't know. I just got this wild hair, and I make the big spider, which it was, you know, the whatever. I made it go down to the ants, and I made it, and it finally the ants attacked it, and the ants killed it. Now, am I supposed to interfere with nature? Well, no. We're not supposed to be interfering, but that was the revelation that I needed, because once I did that and the ants attacked the spiders, there was 3 of them that I ended up taking out in the corners of where these ants always come out of the wall. There was no more predator for the ants anymore. And literally within 20 minutes, they were going up on the wall of where the spider was hanging out. They were going and checking and doing a little journey. They were all over it. But they wouldn't go up there before because the spider was up there. But once the spider was gone, they immediately went up and they started to search around and see what was going on up on that wall. So I had a big revelation, and I realized I was playing God. I did a divine intervention because I removed their threat. 3 simple spiders, a mama and or a daddy and 2 babies. They weren't babies, and it kind of felt bad, right? Because I don't like killing stuff, but like there's all these dead carcasses of ants. So I ended up realizing that, is this the way it works in our reality? The script gets played out, it gets written, we all incarnate, we play out our roles, we may have some free will, okay. But then when it comes time to eliminate the predator, you have this intervention. And just like I was the God the other night, I played God and I took care of the predators. And now there's not the predator. Now the ants don't have to worry about the predator. Now they're up all over in the wall and there's no more predator anymore. And this to me, ladies and gentlemen, was so profound for me. I hope you're getting this, because for me it was so profound. And I realized that this just may be the way this reality works. That's what happens when the wiping of the board comes in, and it's the same thing when you go and get a diagnosis from your doctor and they say, okay, well, you have this wrong with you, take these pills for a week and you're good. If something else happens, come back and see me. And you take the protocol and you eliminate whatever's going on in your body. You get rid of the bacteria, the virus, the pathogens, whatever. You have now eliminated the threat. So essentially, these are all fractals of being the God, doing the intervention. And it was very profound for me. I mean, because that spider was in there for a while. And then it had the baby. I mean, it was in there for a while. And again, I mean, what do you feel bad for? The ants, all these dead carcasses, and you just have one spider in the corner? But I thought that was very profound. I hope you all got that. I hope I explained it. But that to me was me being God and doing the intervention and removing the threats for the ants. And we're the ants. So you got to correlate that, like human beings are the ants. We're the ants. And we have predators. So is there a space in this reality where something intercepts and takes care of the predators on the world stage? Very possible. Anyway, I hope all of you got that. Because that was my that was the great reset for the ants, man. And they still piss me off because, like I said, I mean, can't leave any food out. I have to keep everything in a Ziploc. Anything, any kind of nut butters, peanut, Ziploc, nuts. So yeah, Frank says, no matter the outcome of the spider intervention or not, it had to happen. Yeah, exactly. But I was just simply giving you an example. Like the spider, I don't even know what the life of a spider is. but it's procreating. There was babies there. So if you don't remove the predator and the spider dies and it creates a baby and the baby takes the place of the parent and the cycle continues, when does that cycle change? Just in my bathroom. When would that cycle change? I mean, you would think it'd probably go on for a long time if the spiders continue to procreate. But then there was me coming in there and, being the God. It was really interesting. It was really profound for me, folks. It really changed my perspective on this reality in a major way. I'm a hero. Well, I think the ants probably thought so, but it was really interesting. It was really, really interesting. Did I feel bad for giving the spiders up to the ants? Yeah, I did. I mean, I did, because I was interfering. I essentially was interfering with the cyclical patterns of nature. I wasn't supposed to go in and do that. Now, I know people would say that, well, which one's going to get taken out, which one's going to remain. You're the demiurge. Yeah, exactly. Cosmic Fern Tree says, I've recently had to poison rats. I couldn't catch them. They were starting to eat things under the car bonnet. Yeah, see? So this is in that situation where, what do you do? I had mentioned this before, and I'm just going to mention this one more time. And this had to do with veganism and all that stuff. And I've studied this context so much, and how the context of this reality works. And I was just talking to my sister. She lives in Massachusetts. She was telling me, yeah, we're friends with this person. She's got a farm, and they have like 4 chickens, and they lay chicken legs an egg every day. Doesn't matter. They pump these eggs out. So they have eggs for days, pumps them up. The chicken will pump it out no matter what. So you're going to get people say, oh, well, you shouldn't be having that because this, and it's like, man, if you start to study this reality, it's the same. Like if you and I, we go build a pond, if we go dig a hole and we fill that thing with water and we buy a whole bunch of fish, and you stock that pond full of fish, what are the fish going to do? They're going to hump. They're going to procreate. That's what their job is. They're instinctively going to hump and procreate, and they're going to pump out babies. What are the predators of fish? Like snapping turtle. I went and studied like snapping turtles and, heron and birds. But just think about how many eggs that fish lay. They just pump these things out, man. Anybody can do this. Just like planting a garden, you can create food from nothing. So if you take that context and you move that into, someone who's a vegan, like, okay, go build a pond and go put fish in there. And then you start fishing out there, and you're somebody who starts to eat fish. I mean, is that a bad thing? Is that an evil thing? Because again, is eating an egg evil? The chicken's going to lay the egg no matter what, ladies and gentlemen. The bees are going to make the honey no matter what. Florida mosquitoes are GMO. Yeah, read about that. What is the specific significance of January 23rd? Well, it's the 23rd day of the year. It's the Four of Diamonds card, which is card number 30, right? So you got to know what the Four of Diamonds means. But it's the 23. 23 in numerology is called the Royal Star of the Lion. Royal Star of the Lion is going to be tied to Regulus and Leo and the sickle and the crown and blood and history. All those words equal 23. But there's just so much that you could go off of on any birthday here, folks. Any birthday. There's just so much you can go in on and start to tie it into your reality. Yeah, so Norma's talking about the mosquitoes up in Canada. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, think about how this reality is built. Like, if you just take into consider, like, okay, let's talk about the mosquito. What created it? What created the mosquito? And, you know, I hope that your answer is not going to be man created it. Because then you would just go to something about what created the praying mantis, what created the ladybug. These are all stone cold killers. I mean, I would not want to be living in the insect world, that's for sure. Getting shrunk down and being in the insect world. A lot of predators down there. But what created the mosquito? What's the purpose of the mosquito? They suck blood, they carry diseases, and they kill people. That's what they do. Why? Mosquito, there was no talk about, if you want to bring theology into it, there was no talks about any mosquito in the Garden of Eden. There was not one mosquito mentioned in that book. I didn't hear about any mosquitoes sinning to deserve to come down here and be in hell. So what's the freaking purpose of them? You know what probably my biggest pet peeve are ticks. Ugh, I can't stand those things. It's just a predator. It's looking for a host to embed in your body, suck your blood, give you Lyme disease. Where'd that come from? See, you can't just blame it on it's these organizations, it's them, it's they creating these. We can't do that all the time, ladies and gentlemen. Because inside your body right now, you have bacteria, you have parasites that are constantly trying to take you down. And you can't just say that it's man creating these things. That's bullshit. Because if you believe that, then that would mean that man created your white blood cells. Because the job of the white blood cells is to attack the invaders that come into the body. So we can't just say that it's the boogeyman that created parasites, pathogens, and bacteria that invade the body. That's absurd. That's absurd thinking. If you just study the body and you realize that you have an immune system and the immune system wouldn't have a freaking job unless there was something to attack and go to. Essentially, there's a war going on in your body all the time, but you don't even know about it. When you get a sickness or disease, then you know that you're now feeling the ramifications of it. It's now overgrown. The war is overgrown. It's too big. Now you got a war in your body you got to tend to. You got to go get some medicine, or you got to take this, or you got to do that, or you got to go on this protocol, because now it's out of hand. What created all that stuff? You think the devil created that? You think the devil is responsible for creating the parasites and bacteria? Just those things, though, the bad things in life, that's the boogeyman. That's Satan. Satan created the bacteria, pathogens, and et cetera, et cetera. Only God created the white blood cells. That's crazy, but that's what people, if you take that same story, you put that right into the church, that's exactly what the church is trying to tell you. It's insane, man. This is the insanity we have in our reality. The church would not have a job unless they had the story of the devil. No job. Wouldn't need it. What for? Because if you go to church because you sin, why do you sin? The devil made me do it. It's the devil. It's my temptation. It's just hilarious, man, this reality. It is just a big comedy show. It's a big comedy show. What does the number 49 signify? Well, down in a hole. 49 signifies down in a hole. The words down in a hole equal 49. 49 is tied to indium, going inward. Indium's tied to the world card, which means going into the hole. 49 means going down into the hole. 9 and 4, 49. It's going to reduce down to the number 4. 4 is the cube, squaring the circle. 4 is the heart-shaped box. 49th card in the deck is the, could be the Queen of Cups. Queen of Hearts, 12. Hangman. It's not what goes into a man, it's what comes out. Well, I know a lot of people that eat a lot of nasty stuff, so I don't know about that verse has any merit at all. Now, I'm not interested in decoding Andrew Tate. I got a lot of people asking me. I have no interest. That's just all a big distraction. Here's my decode Andrew Tate. Distraction. There you go. There's my decode of him. Distraction. That's the short. All right, let's bring in the Zoom call. I gotta. Let me see if I can bring in the Zoom call here. Hang on one sec. Let's see if I can get this in the chat room. Okay, I'm going to pin this to the top. Fuck these channels. Okay. So if you'd like to come in and join the Zoom call and have your voice heard, you want to talk about something, and here's the rules of this now. All right. Here are the rules that I have no toleration on. Make your comment a minute or less. I don't want to hear about a 5-minute life story. And I'm not being an ass. I just want to keep this flowing. So if you have something to talk about, please make sure it's about decoding. All right. Something about what's your question, but make it very short and sweet. Okay. You can talk about anything you want, but a minute or under. Otherwise, people get bothered when it's like, I've let people talk 3-4 minutes, like, oh my God, okay. Get your point needs to come out right away. All right. So I'm just very strict on that because I want to keep this enjoyable for everybody. And it was pretty good last time. So if you'd like to come in, click that link and we'll get you into the Zoom meeting. I'm just going to wait till a couple people get in here and let's see if we can get some people come in and ask a question if they want to talk. I need a gong. That's pretty funny. Matthew Garvin, why is all this chaos and suffering allowed? Because none of this is real. There is absolutely no accountability. Well, people don't know that. And even when you know it like I do, It doesn't mean that I'm going to go be a bad person in the context of using that adjective. Okay? I'm not going to do that. It's not an excuse or a hall pass to say, oh, well, who cares? You know, folks, we're in a movie, okay? You're being watched. You're being observed. This reality is theater. All right, so if you're coming in, just mute yourself. All right, so let's pop this on. So right to the right of my screen, or the left of my screen, is going to be the Zoom. So you don't have to show yourself on camera. You can just treat it like a phone call. But Sarah, you're on the dance floor. If you want to unmute yourself, go ahead with your question. Let me just turn the music down a little bit here. Sarah, go ahead. Sarah?
Right to the right of my...
You got to mute your, you got to take the background noise off.
Zoom. So you don't have to show yourself on camera. You
All
can
right,
just
who's doing that?
treat it like a phone call. But Sarah,
Ever James, you got to mute yourself, brother.
go ahead with your question.
There you go. Thank you. All right, so somebody jump in on the dance floor and go ahead and, what do you want to talk about?
To the right of my...
Hey.
You gotta mute your... You gotta take
Somebody has to, you got to mute your background noise, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
Turn off your TV or computer or phone. There you go.
got it.
Okay, cool. What's going on, Sarah?
Hey.
Where are you calling from?
We're here from Wisconsin. Me and my sister are listening in while we're making some soup together.
Nice. Are you guys cheese fans or what?
Yeah, we're making cheddar broccoli soup.
Okay. All right. There you go. Okay. What's going on over there in Wisconsin?
Not a whole lot. Just we're a little new to the world of decoding, and I always thought it was interesting that I have two kids. One was born on 2/22. The other one was born on 3/14.
Okay.
And I always just thought that was really interesting. Do you have any just a little bit of insight on either of those birth dates?
Well, I mean, have you have you looked at the website itsallonthecards.com? Stephen or Pamela, can you guys put the "It's All in the Cards" in the text for me, if you don't mind? I'll just do it real quick. So what I'll do is, it's much easier to, because I don't have all these cards memorized.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so all you gotta do is click on that, and all of you that are new here, that you haven't really looked at your card, read about your cards, your family, your kids, please go do that, because it's a cheat sheet. You can figure out how your kid's gonna act and behave, not completely, but you'll at least have a little bit of an advantage. But March 14th is, the 9 of diamonds. March 14th is an interesting day because it's tied to the 9 of diamonds, card 35. The word simulation is 35. The simulation is going to contain the measurements of pi. Pi is the perfect circle. The simulation is Earth, which is the perfect circle. And the March 14th is the 73rd and 74th day of the year if you're counting common and leap years. And that's an exact match to the blood pH of 7.3, 7.4. So it tells us loud and clear, we're in a simulation. You're in a movie, you're on the dance floor, and you're living out your life through an avatar, through the blood. That's going to be March 14th. February 22nd is going to be a master builder number, the 22, and that's going to be the 3 of diamonds. Let me just double check that. The 3 of diamonds, and the 3 of diamonds is tied to the word voltage. Okay, so it's a card of being very artistic. Donald Trump has that card. Bernie Sanders has that card. If you don't like these people, that doesn't matter. But the potential is there to become something very prolific in this reality. 22 is the master builder. So you have a child who's a builder. Okay, automatically with that 22, and then you add the 3 of diamonds, which is the apprentice card. That child should be like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And if they say, well, I want to open a business, well, then you would do anything you can do to get them to open that business. Or I want to get into real estate. You would encourage them to get their real estate license at an early age. I want to be a chef. You would encourage them to go to culinary art school. I want to be an artist. I want to sing. Give them singing lessons. These are the things that are the cheat sheet with these cards and the birthdays. The 9 of diamonds is kind of like the 9 of everything. So it's the wishes, hopes, and dreams being fulfilled, because that's the perfect circle. That is Earth, but it's a humanitarian card as well. So, you got to start to study all these layers, what their life path is. You add up the entire birthday, figure out, you can piggyback onto that card, the 3 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds. You got a couple diamonds in your hen house. So that's kind of cool.
Thanks a lot, Logan.
Yeah,
that really helps me get started with the kids because I'm super interested about them as well as myself. But it's always interesting because the kids, one's 2 and the other one's 5, and it's just like,
man,
I just want to help them as best as I can because my mom wasn't aware of any of this stuff.
Neither was mine.
Yeah.
Neither was mine. Neither was many of these people that are in this What's Your Question tonight. So thank you for coming on, Sarah. I appreciate you sharing some of your space with us. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you if you have kids, man, decode your kids. Man, because then you could say, when's the last time you asked your kid, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then you look at their card and you read the description and you look at their life path, you know what their soul contract is, and you're like, holy shit, this is a match. You would, okay, then you move into the strategy. Then you become a strategist. Don't just say, oh, that's cool. No, now you want to, okay, because typically parents are like programmed to get their kids to college. Nothing wrong with that, right? But maybe your kid's not designed to do that. But you want to get them to go to college because you went to college and mom and dad said you got to go to college and you're just kind of passing the baton. That doesn't work with everybody. But when you have the cheat sheet of the cards, the soul contract, the astrological placements, man, I'm telling you, I mean, if I was a dad, my kid would be a superstar. Because every kid can be a superstar. You just need the tools to do it. You need to be in the right career field. A lot of parents, they end up making their kids go to school for something they didn't want to go to school for because that's what they did. And it's like, oh, you got to have a good career. I'm making a lot of money, so that's what you got to do. Well, that doesn't make me happy. But a lot of parents, they force their kids into these career fields and the kids end up resenting the parents and they don't tell them and they have a sour relationship. So this is all where we're moving into the I know thyself age. And we're going to be this is the future of these children. And man, what a time to be living right now for sure. So good luck with that, Sarah. No such thing as luck, just kind of my, my thing. Frank, go ahead. Frank S., go ahead and unmute yourself and come on here. Frank? Frank S. Going once. Come on, Frank. Whoops. Let's get rid of that.
Can I ask a quick question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead. You have a really challenging connection.
Hi, Logan.
Yeah, go ahead. Somebody come on there and...
Hey, my name is Frank.
Frank, how you doing, brother?
I'm not bad. Not bad. Yourself?
Fantastic, thanks. You're on the dance floor. What's your question, my friend? What do you want to talk about?
I'm from Montreal, Canada.
Okay.
And my question, it's not really a question. I just want to thank you because I've been following you for a couple of years.
Thank you for the support.
And I just wanted to mention just a quick story, about the infamous code that you always talk about. So the last decodes, you mentioned Genesis, I think 6
verses 3. Yep.
So a couple months back, I've been trying to find a song that I loved so much. I think the song was even born, I was born way after the song. It's a song in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
So it's by Phil Collins.
I love Phil Collins.
Yeah, he's awesome. And I always tried to find what was the song. But what was weird was that I don't know what it is, but I saw your decodes and I go, Genesis, this is so weird. I gotta find it. I go, I know Phil Collins was in Genesis.
It was.
So I found the song.
Okay.
And then what was so weird about it is that the song comes from the group Genesis.
Okay.
And it's called Ripple.
It's called what?
Ripple.
Ripple by Genesis.
Ripple. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
It's so crazy because then a couple of years back, I was so into the stock market, and then I heard, I don't know if it was you or somebody else, but it goes, if you had to invest somewhere in crypto, invest in Ripple.
Okay.
So do you see the sequence?
Yep.
How cool it is?
Let's see. So that song came out off of A Trick of the Tail, 1976.
Yeah.
February 2nd, which is Groundhog Day, which is that's the 10 of spades, which is kind of, rock bottom, finished, gone up. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Plus, the recent guest that talked to you.
Yep.
Well, she mentioned 3 of diamonds. I'm a 3 of diamonds also.
Nice. Okay, well, that's the card of voltage, right? What is it you do for a living?
Well, I'm technically, what I am is I'm a professional cook.
There, I rest my case. There you go. There you go.
I'm actually, I went back to school, and I'm studying to become a special care counselor.
Beautiful. So
Yeah.
you may change career. I mean, this is the beautiful part about that. I mean, this 3 of diamonds is the card of the apprentice. I mean, Donald Trump has the 3 of diamonds. The card in the tarot is the 3 of pentacles. It means the apprentice. And Donald Trump had a show called The Apprentice. You see, this is how dialed in this whole code is. Whether people become aware of it or not is irrelevant, because these things came out long before a lot of these people come out. But there you are, having this kind of experience. And I appreciate your comment, Frank. Best of wishes to you, man, on your journey of this counselor that you're moving into. It's pretty awesome.
Thanks a lot, man, and all the best to you and your future projects. I really, I follow your channel, and you're doing some amazing work.
I appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much for the support and the love. Sending you a lot of love out there. Where are you calling from, Frank?
I'm calling from Montreal, Quebec.
Oh, cool. You guys got a cool casino. Well, you used to have. I don't know if it's still. You still got the casino up there?
Yeah, there's still the casino there.
There is? Okay, I figured so. Yeah, I used to go up there a few times here and there. Yeah, you're just north of where I'm from. So, cool, man. It must be cold as shit right now, though.
Yeah, it's a -1, -2, but it's not that bad.
It's 80 something here. -2 is really bad to me, but it's all perspective, I guess. So it's all good. All right, Frank. Well, thanks so much for calling in, brother. I appreciate your support. Sending you a lot of love up there in Montreal, Canada. Who we got next? Come on the dance floor. Who we got next? Someone just came in here.
Hello?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
Ever. Go ahead, brother. You're on the dance floor, man. Welcome out. What's your question?
All right. So I have matching numerology with my mom's middle name. I just want to know what that means real quick.
That's really watered down, bro. I mean, you gotta. That's just one piece of it. So if you're gonna decode your name, my suggestion is to decode your birth certificate name. But then you can also add on your mother's maiden name. So you're gonna have, if you have a middle name, you're gonna have 4 names to decode. You're gonna have a lot of digits in there. So just matching up somebody's middle name with your name really doesn't give us much to go off of.
Oh, I see. Well, this is the weird part because there's 2 ciphers that matches. I just want to know, why do we do the middle name and not the first name?
Why do we what?
Why do we go by the middle name and not the first name?
Why don't we?
Because it's mainly the middle name. I remember in one of your videos you said that we should look into the middle name.
Yeah, well,
the middle one.
Yeah. I mean, it's a theoretical position that I had said on a podcast before, that the middle name that you may have, some people don't. So then people are like, well, I don't have one. What does that mean? Because again, this is theoretical. The middle name you have may be the middle path, you experiencing this balance in this reality. So there is some kind of like positions for that, but it's not just I'm gonna leave it there and not take into consideration anything and everything else.
Here's another weird part about this. So my mom had a brother, so they named me after her brother died, which is my mom's brother, and it's the same name. So Elizabeth is my mom's middle name.
That's
My
33.
name is Everardo.
Elizabeth is 33, so
Elizabeth's 88 on the ordinal and 43 on the reduction, and I have those same 2. So they named me after my mom's brother when he died. So it's like a possible reincarnation or something.
Something like that, yeah. That may be. See, that this is why, like, I'm not saying to not use these other ciphers, but the challenge that we have is if you just use If you use the English, the reduction, the 1 through 9, and then the Chaldean, normally you're going to get 3 outcomes. Where do you go from there? See, then you have to say, well, wait, I'm all these numbers now. Now, see, every time you add a cipher, you become another number. Eventually, you're going to become all the numbers. And that just isn't so on numerology and the rules of numerology, because you ain't all the numbers when they're in the context of how your personality is going to show up. That's why I suggest using the Chaldean, because the Chaldean's the oldest known numerology cipher. If you want to kind of like get yourself detailed, you get into the cards of illumination, you tie it to alchemy, you can tie it into the tarot, and you can tie it into astrology. I think Chaldean is the very best cipher to use when decoding yourself. I mean, because my name in the my name is 64 with my birth certificate name in the Chaldean. If I add my mother's maiden name, I become the number 80. Okay. If I go into full reduction, I get the 76. I mean, where do I go from there? I got 76, I got 80, I got 64. What do I do with all these numbers? You see, what it does is it confuses the observer. It confuses the reader, and then you can just connect words to numbers and be like, oh, well, then it's this, and I found this. But when you just use one cipher and you start to create your foundation, and then you find the specific patterns, I say that's a much more powerful position to be in, especially when you're dealing with the Chaldean, which is not only the oldest known numerology cipher, but it works off of phonetics and the shape of the letters, and it's tied to the Hebrew alphabet as well, the Aramaic. So to me, anybody out there listening right now, I'm not saying to remove your decoding efforts, but I will suggest, as a decoder, I've been doing this a long time, just use Chaldean. If you're going to be decoding your names and where you're from and all that, address isn't, just use Chaldean. It's the best one. Okay?
All right, thanks. I just thought it was interesting because it has matching numerology in 2 ciphers, and the ordinal and the reduction. So I was like, wow.
Yeah,
they named me. It was pretty interesting because they named me after her brother died. So it's like I got the same name of her brother.
Well, then her
middle name matches with two ciphers. 88 and 43, which is Elizabeth. 8843 Everardo, which is my name. 8843. I was like, whoa, and he kind of, he gave me like a sign. I don't know.
Okay.
It was pretty interesting.
Well, all that matters is what you find anyway, not what I say and giving you my opinions on things. But I would definitely go into your birth certificate name. What's on your birth certificate? Okay.
So I put my name on the Chaldean cipher as well, and I got 78. So my first name and my last name, which is, we got 2 last names. And is there a way we can put our 2 last names? Because I'm Hispanic, so I put my whole name.
You have a hyphen, right?
Yeah, and the Chaldean is 78.
Yeah, so now you have
my ascending and my chakras is between the 7th and the 8th.
Well,
so I was born April 27, 1998. My ascending right in the middle of 7 and 8. And Chaldean, my whole name is 78. So that was one of my finds too. Yeah,
well, amazing job. I mean, this is what we're doing here. We're trying to really finalize these details in our lives, and astrology is a big piece of it. The Nakshakras, if you're born on the 27th, you're going to be tied to the Nakshakra called Ravati, which sits in the house of Pisces. Where's your Pisces at? Do you have any planets there? You see, the more connections you can find, the more the more you're going to define yourself in this reality. So there's a great job on that so far.
Yeah,
keep going.
My 8th chakra is my ascending, so it's the ascending is the most powerful, right?
Well, it's not. Well, I think it's definitely one of the most powerful positions, because it's like, imagine that's when the sun rises and you get the first rays of the sun, you get fused with that energy, and it's really kind of virginized sunlight, if you will, right? The first rays of the sun. So I think this is an important part in tropical astrology. Really, it does a good job with the facial features, how we look with the rising sign tied with the sun sign. So this is how you use these systems. So one system's not going to be better than the other ones. They're going to have their own, like it's a tool in the toolbox. A hammer does different than a saw, but they're both very, virtuous in the toolbox. They do good things in construction when you're building a house. One's not better than the other. Okay. You can't get a nail in with a saw,
I see.
So you have to start to utilize all these great mystical art platforms, and then you expand out. Once you get them locked down, you expand out. What's your Enneagram? What's your wings in your Enneagram? What's your human design? What's your profile? What's your life path? What's your heart's desire? How many consonants make up your name with the number 1, 2, 3, 4? There's just so many layers that you can go into this to define who you are and why you're here. And, you know, if you get into the past life stuff, that's great. But to me, I feel that the now moment's the most important. Looking at past lives is great. Doing a past life regression with somebody, that's fun and all that stuff. But it really is not going to do anything for you in the now moment. I want to know how you operate in the now moment. And we may have some trickling over from past life stuff. Yeah, there may be some karma there if that really exists. But really what defines us is who we are right now with the astrological chart or astrological charts and the numerology and all that kind of good stuff. So, all right, Ever. Well, thanks for calling in. Where are you calling from, Ever?
Thank you so much. I'm calling from Kansas City, but I was born in Mexico.
Kansas City?
Kansas States. Yeah.
You got the 314? Yeah, you got, no, St. Louis does. Kansas City, okay.
I got 913 though.
913, okay, great. All right, Ever, well, thanks for calling in. Appreciate you sharing some of your time here. Appreciate
Thank you so
that.
much.
You're welcome, brother. Thanks for the support.
bless.
Sending you a lot of love. Yeah, man. All right, anybody else want to step up? Who do we have else?
Hey, what's up, Logan?
Hey, Jack, what's going on?
Hey, man. I called in once before on here, and I had said I was from living in Kent, Ohio.
You were living where?
I was living in Kent, Ohio at the time. I think I said something about it, and you told me the 9 of Swords.
You were the 9 of Swords. Your birthday's the 9 of Swords?
Yeah, March 1st, and we talked about the Pink Floyd album.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Dark Side of the Moon came out on March 1st, 1973.
Yeah, do you remember when I called in?
Do I remember what your card meant?
I'm sure you have a lot of callers. I said, do you remember when I called in?
I actually vaguely I do, but you know, because of everything going on, I would be dishonest if I said I remember everything. But I do vaguely remember because I remember that you were the March 1st, 1973 Dark Side of the Moon, and you were connected to that.
You
Yeah.
told me to put the card down next to my dream journal when I go to sleep or whatever.
Okay.
Because I think I brought that up to you.
Okay. What happened? Do you have anything to share with that, or?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that like I have a lot of like crazy dreams, and I just want to say thank you. And I wanted to ask you, sort of like open question, but also sort of specific too. At the same time, kind of like two wrapped into one. If you were to take like the card of the day, like the card that goes along with the day, that you're like actually like in,
like today, the 7 of Spades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you were to put that next to you when you go to sleep, like on that day, like if I were to go to sleep like right now on the 7 of Spades, then I would use that card. Would you, if you were to do that, would you only put one card?
No, I would do both. I would do the 7 of Spades. I would do the Saturday and Sunday card, and that would form a trifecta. So you'd have your card, the 9 of Spades, the 7 of Spades, and then tomorrow's the Sunday is going to be the 6 of Spades.
Okay, I was kind of confused about that. I didn't know if they would like conflict at all.
No, they're not going to conflict. They're just going to join together, and then you'd have to keep a log of that. And I mean, I'd be curious to see what kind of results you'll have with that.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking about it because you had brought it up at the beginning of this call, and
yeah, try it out. Try it out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to tonight. I haven't done it in a while, but I have been keeping track of dream journals as I can. Awesome. And also, Mugwort is cool if you want to check that out.
You say that again?
I said Mugwort is a cool verb for dreaming.
Okay.
Recently I came across a recipe too for like immune support.
Okay.
If people are interested in that, I could share it real quick.
Sure. What do you got? Make it quick though. Go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, for sure. It's only 4 ingredients. So you have burdock root, which has all 102 minerals that your body needs, and then you have sarsaparilla, which is maximum concentration of iron, that you can get. And then you have Enchantia, which is for, I think most people know that's for immune support too. And then you have brain fart, rose hips. That was the main
Rose
ingredient.
hips.
I
So you
think
got,
that
okay.
made it come all together, because did you know that that's the highest concentration of vitamin C in the wild?
Not what, rose hips?
Yeah.
Yeah, they put it in vitamin C. Usually
Yeah, I
they
didn't
sell
know
vitamin
that.
C with rose hips, yeah.
Yeah, until I was listening to I think it was Crow 777 radio. I think I heard that on.
Okay, so you got sarsaparilla, you got rose hips, you have burdock root. What was the other one?
Enchantia root.
Echinacea?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I've been calling it the wrong name.
That's okay. That's not the wrong one. It's just your pronunciation of it. I'm glad we got it. We got it sorted. So echinacea, burdock root, sarsaparilla, and rose hips. Those four.
Yep.
Is there a formula out there that combines all four, or you got to buy them separately? Have you looked into that?
I bought them separately. I've been experimenting too. I've also put like thyme and elderberry in the tea too, and that's
Cool.
also helpful. But
Okay.
I think adding the rose hips was the perfect combination with the mineral and iron.
Dynamite.
And it's like, yeah, like 3 days, man. I had this congestion going on for like a couple weeks. It's gone. I
Cool.
made the tea like a couple times. But yeah, sorry, I don't want to take up too much more time. But could I point out some things I noticed in the conversations?
Yeah, really quick though. Go ahead. What do you got? What do you want to point out?
Okay, so Sarah, she said something about her two kids. I have two good friends growing up that had those same two birthdays, and that was also when I was living in Kent, which
Okay.
but they live up there in Ohio. I'm down here with my dad in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay. Oh, that's a cool town.
And also Ever James, when he was talking, he said something about his mom being named after his uncle, and his mom as name is his middle name. And I just thought that was funny, because there's a kind of similar situation in my family with my my uncle. I'm named after him, and also my mom's mom. So it's like, it's cool to hear
Awesome.
people come on and talk about their personal experiences and stuff.
Cool.
Connecting them all together.
All right, Jack. Well, thanks for.
Appreciate what you're doing here, man.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Thank you for letting me come on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for sharing some space. Sending you a lot of love up there, wherever you're. You said you were. You're in Savannah.
Yeah, next to Savannah, Georgia.
Nice. That's a cool town, man. I've been there one time. It's kind of like magical Cinderella land. All right, Jack. I'm sorry. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate you. Anybody
I
else?
appreciate you, man. Much love.
Cool. Much love, bro. Anybody else? I don't know if do we have anybody else in the chat?
There's Norma.
Norma? Go ahead, Norma. Gotta unmute yourself. Oh, you're already.
Greetings, Logan.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Fantastic. Thanks for asking. What's going on with you?
First, I just wanted to say much gratitude to you and
thank you.
everybody else in right now, because we're having a wonderful exchange of energy, and that's very important.
Totally.
My question is, I have several friends that think they may be reincarnations of significant historical people
Okay.
or close thereof. How can we use the information that you're bringing to the world to maybe figure out if that is a possibility? And
Okay.
if so, how do we get that information that person knew?
What was the second part? How do we get what? I didn't understand the second part of your question.
How do we download the information that person knew? how to
from the past life.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the second part of your question, I have no idea how you would do that. You could maybe do some kind of hypnosis or past life, or you could maybe get into that. That's not a specialty of mine, so I just couldn't help you there. As far as like people saying that they're listen, I have a lot of people that have emailed me over the years claiming that they're the Christ reincarnated. You wouldn't even believe it. And I tell these people, that's totally awesome that you think that. I would love to get you in the room with all the other people that think the same thing, and then you guys and gals can figure it out. Because, I mean, there's a lot of people that make that claim, right? But what I would say is that if someone's claiming to be, let's say, the reincarnation of Thomas Edison, the reason why I'm mentioning that, I had a buddy, really one of my best friends, he mentioned to me that he believes in a group of people that they are hanging around with, they believe that Elon Musk is the reincarnation of Thomas Edison. And so what I did was I started to break it down. And one of the things you can do is find out what the day of their death was, and then what the day of the birth of this person claiming to be that person is. And then you got to obviously start to use these dates and the numbers that you get, and you got to start to figure out where those numbers will apply in the astrological chart, where they're going to apply in alchemy, where they're going to apply, on the calendar itself, because you have the leap year and the common year, you can add those up. So you got to get the number first. You can figure out where this person died, where this person was born, figure out the distance in between the two cities. I've shown this, the latitude, longitude, and adding up those numbers, dividing those numbers, subtracting those numbers. These may be a way to maybe, kind of dial it in, and see if there is any merit to what they're saying. Because I'm definitely not somebody who's going to say they're full of shit, because I mean, I would be full of shit saying that, right? If somebody thinks that they're the reincarnation of somebody, well, that's fine, go do that. But like, what do you bring into it's great to make these claims. Like, people make these claims that they're these high, heavy honcho people in the world. But then I just say, that's totally awesome to take the title. What are you doing with it? What are you doing with the information? It's great that anybody can say I'm anybody, but what are you doing with it? Because all that matters is the now moment. All that matters is right now. So if you're the reincarnation of someone big, that's great, but what are you doing now with it? That's what I'm interested in.
Now, how about if one of these people just has the feeling that there may be a reincarnation of somebody significant, but they don't know who it is. They just feel like they have this message they have to get out, and they're not sure what it is or how.
Just get
that feeling.
Then just forget about trying to fit. So I think past life regressions and doing the Akashic records. I have a friend that does I have friends that do both. I think they're fun, but to me they don't have any standing or bearing on what you're doing right now. Like, they make good stories. They're like, oh, I was a priest in ancient Egypt. That's totally cool, but you ain't a priest from ancient Egypt right now. You're you. What are you doing with your avatar right now? So if somebody feels like they have an important role in this reality, everybody does, right? Decode yourself. Right. So that's the very foundational piece of what we all need to be doing as decoders. We're all decoding ourselves.
Now, what if I tell you that decode just affirmed that, yes, I'm supposed to be doing something special.
Yeah. So what is it? And then, you got to do, like, how would you clarify that? Well, meditation.
That's what I'm asking you, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
how do I clarify that?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, do you meditate on the daily? Are you in control of your mind? Do you do creative visualization? Once you get past the point of meditation's fun. You observe your thoughts, focus on your breath, do all that kind of rah stuff. But then creative visualization is where it's at. And then you start to put it down onto paper. Well, what is your mind leading you towards? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What's your imagination telling you to do? See, if you don't do these activities, then you're just going to have what's called monkey mind, and you're going to be all over the place. But when you condense these thoughts down and you put them onto paper, or you put them in your phone into your notes, and then you figure out what your card is, like when you have your base card, your 2 base cards, your 4 base cards, it gives you a little bit of a hint as to, perhaps what you're going to put down on paper, what you're going to be good at. That's where I would start.
Okay.
Doing your totem pole. So many layers that come into play.
Yeah. Now, I do all of those things.
Okay.
I'm almost in a constant state of meditation.
Okay.
And I've been doing my craft for so long that I don't even have to think about what I'm doing. And I'm literally throughout my day as I'm working, I'm not even there. Like in my mind, I'm meditating, I'm dream building, I'm doing all the wonderful things, and life is awesome. Everything comes to me without effort.
So what's missing for you then? Because you're asking this question. So what's missing for you, Julie? Because you're asking this question.
What's missing is I'm not sure how I'm supposed to share this with everyone else.
Okay, well, sometimes you don't. Yeah, well, I mean, I would say to get out of the space of.
Needs to know this.
Okay, I would suggest stop trying to figure out how you're going to do it. Just know you're going to do it. Focus on the end result.
But I'm an analyst. I'm that analyst you're talking about. So
okay.
I trip over overthinking it.
Okay, well, I mean, then if you practice not overthinking, maybe you'll get some results. I mean, have you ever done a vision board before?
Right. Oh, I have hundreds of them.
Okay. Well, maybe you need to do a new one.
And I've accomplished many of them.
Okay.
I'm living in one of them right now. I drive one of them. Like, I have no doubt I am a certified law of attraction practitioner. I totally know the frequencies, energies, all that stuff. And
Beautiful.
I use it and practice it and absolutely in total gratitude 24/7. And when I'm not, I'm in gratitude that I notice the hiccups that make you want more.
Right. Okay.
I get all of that, and I know I'm supposed to share it to the world because it's so simple once you get yourself into a routine of just being it.
Right. Well, just sometimes just you coming on here and just you saying, hey, I want to share this with the world. And then a spark, you meet somebody tomorrow and that's a sign. And, then you figure out what your human design is. Are you a generator? Are you a projector, reflector, manifesting generator? What's your type there? That's going to help you along the way. What's your soul contract? That's going to help you along the way with your life path. These are all layers you need to start to study and analyze. I would personally look at your entire life and decode yourself from the deepest layers you possibly can. And that may give you some hints as to how to relinquish this information onto the world stage. Okay.
Now, I am in the process of that. Thank you for your Decode Your Reality video.
Sure.
And I've been totally going down that rabbit hole, for lack of a better term, just something relatable. However, life right now has me in the working 9 to 5. Actually, I wish it was 9 to 5. Sometimes it's like 7 till 10, but whatever. So many hours in the day, and so many videos to watch, and so much to learn, and so much, and it just seems like the message needs to get out now, and something's telling me there's a quicker route.
Okay. So focus on
learned all this stuff. I don't need to learn it. I just need to share it.
Okay. So focus on the quicker route. You sounds like you have a lot of experience. So maybe it may just be some simple stuff that you need to take into consideration. And, maybe scrap everything else that you're doing, because it sounds like you have a lot of experience. You have a lot of tools in your toolbox. Maybe you need to simplify your life and just use one tool to get this thing manifested.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that, because I have actually done that. And that was kind of like my reassurance that I did not necessarily the right or wrong thing, but the right direction.
Okay,
to
cool.
Continue what my gut feeling is telling me.
Beautiful.
So like I've retired my day job. I just have to finish out my stuff.
Okay.
and yeah, I'm making the leap, you might say.
Okay, awesome.
But I'm pretty excited about it. And that's why I zoomed in, because I know you have a wonderful audience, and the energy is always good when I am listening in.
Yeah, we have a great audience.
The kind of people I need to Yep. Yeah. That's the kind of people I need to connect with, because that's how we make it grow, is to build on that energy.
That's it. All right, Julie. Well, thanks for calling in. Send you a lot of love, a lot of best wishes. You'll get there eventually. I would go to simplify things, because it sounds like you have a really broad stroke of tools, and maybe you just have too many tools at your disposal at this point. I would simplify your life, and I think you'll find it once you simplify things. So, all right.
Much love.
Much love, Julie. All right, take care. Keep us informed on how you're going to do. Steven, what's up, brother? Go ahead. The great Steven Segura. Unmute yourself, my friend.
Hey,
Yo,
Loki,
bro.
thank you
Just
for
checking in.
bringing up the vision board thing, man. I just wanted to say that um, when you brought that up for me on the last call, that helped me a lot.
Awesome. That's great. Good. All of it. Everybody here should do a vision board. They're great. They're fun. Do them with your kids, especially. It'll tell you where your kids want to go. That's for sure. Go ahead, Steven. Are you up, man? Or did he sign off? Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah. Just checking in, bro. How's it going? How you feeling?
Fantastic, man. What's going on?
Great. So I was just, I've been doing a lot of pyramid research, and I've just been wondering, like, since you're in Mexico, if you've ever gotten to visit like ancient sites, and like what's your experience been with them, and if you haven't, then like what are your goals for travel?
What's my what for travel?
Goals for travel.
Oh, my goals for travel. It's interesting coming here to Mexico. I don't really get out of Puerto. I've been to Tulum twice, Playa del Carmen, but I haven't even been to Chichen Itza, it's like a 2-hour ride from here. I've been to Cozumel. I've done snorkeling. I've done that fun kind of stuff, but I haven't done any. I've been to Xcaret, which is Mexico's flagship paradise family playground you can go to. Been there a few times. That's a lot of fun. So I've seen some of the culture there, but I haven't been to any of the ancient sites like Santos and them. They've gone to some of these places, but I haven't been to any of those. I just don't know why, but I think mainly because a lot of my time, the majority of my time is spent creating all this stuff for the benefit of everybody in the decoding world. So that's the major piece of my time. But as far as, what was your other question? What's my mode of travel?
No, your goal, like.
Oh, my goal.
Yeah, just pretty much, yeah, your goals, because like I've heard some cool things about the pyramids and like how they could benefit our blood. I guess since there's like been a YouTube video made on it, but like pretty much I was just wondering what your goals were for travel, and if like if you're like trying to go to these like pyramids and like just really absorb the history.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'd rather read about it. I don't know. Like, I think it's fun going. I don't get out as much as I should because I've been in hermit mode for so many years now, and I think I may be kind of really fond of that space. But I mean, I get out a lot. I'm 2 blocks from the beach, so I get to the beach as much as I can. I do my grounding. That to me, like, I'm kind of semi-retired, if you will. Like, to me, that's where the fun's at, is not having to be in the hustle and bustle. One of the reasons that appealed to me coming to Mexico is you can get away from the hustle and bustle. And if you are somebody who is that, like if you're a 5 life path, especially, like I'm an 8 life path. So my life path is all about dealing with power. If you're a 5 life path, you're probably going to want to be that person who gets out there and goes and checks out all those historical sites. And yeah, the latitude, longitudes of these pyramids, I would be researching them, figuring out if they're on, power sites, et cetera, on these ley lines. You can make your own pyramid, Stephen. You can build one in your bedroom if you wanted to. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. If you sit on a latitude, try it. Like every number is special. It doesn't have to be 33. Like people are so fixated on these numbers, but any number is, like Jesus born of Bethlehem is 31 and 35. We could say those numbers are special, but if you take any combination of numbers, they're going to be special. Just, you got to know what they're for, what they're all about, and what their meaning is. That's the true essence of breaking this stuff down.
Yes. Speaking of pyramids, bro, like Jason Bashir talks a lot about how the pyramid, one of the angles is 51 degrees, and the golden ratio, or wait, was it the golden ratio? Let me double check this.
Yeah, probably. You got 51 degrees, and then you also have the 138 tied to the ground. I personally think the Great Pyramid of Giza has something to do with this reality. And if it got taken out, if someone demolished that thing, I'm not saying to go do that, but I'm hypothetically giving this, that if the Great Pyramid of Giza, Khufu, if that was taken out, I think our reality would change. I know that's really abstract, but I think that's has a lot to do with our reality.
Yeah, I was bringing that up because 51 appears at the 48th and 49th decimal digit of pi.
Yep. Yep. Well, that's also going to extend to the 50. It'll be 49 and 50 if you add the 3 point in there, which is going to give you the 109, and that's the 29th prime number, and the latitude north of the Great Pyramid of Giza is 29 degrees north. So, and what is the pyramid sitting on? The perfect circle, Earth, which is pi. And what's interesting about that whole pi thing is there are two versions of pi. You have the typical version that we use as decoders at 3.141. But if you go study Jane 108, that author who gets into crystals, he's going to tell you that ain't it. The true measurements of pi is actually 3.144. So it throws it off. But I've studied both of them, and they all come to the same origins, and it doesn't matter. They're all going to be part of the source code, so it's really irrelevant. So the true essence, the circumference of a circle is not 3.141, it's 3.144 using Jane 108 and his measurements, and the true essence of the circumference of a circle. But it doesn't matter because the numbers, because of the number 9, it's going to lead back to the same origin no matter what, source code-wise.
Well, that's great, bro. Super grateful to be a mod for you.
Thank you so much for your manager positions. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's nice to have.
A long way, bro.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. Thank you. All right, so let's get into. I think that's about it. Truly, yeah. I'm gonna. Whoops. Let me take this off. Okay, we're gonna end this for now. Okay. Let's get back to some of your questions. Thanks everybody for joining in. All the great decoders coming in asking questions. That's right. We're in a movie. That's right. See, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you with absolute, there was a decode I didn't get a lot of traction. Actually, it did when I first released it. If you haven't seen it, it's the emergency dial code for the United States, 911. I decoded it. And it all led to the Tetragrammaton, which is the Yod He Vav He. All these people they made the first phone call for the dialing to 911 from the police station, the senator, I think it was the senator or whoever made the call, all these birthdays. It's insane. These people didn't have a choice. They were destined to create the 911 emergency dial code for the United States. And this is why, you get into the sports and all that, and it's really popular with the sports. But this is my belief. Man's not coding sports. Even if you say, oh, there it is. See, they're coding. It's rigged because they're doing. No, they're not doing anything. They're acting it out. Even if somebody says, I'm going to fix a score, their mind's not their own. So they're not fixing jack. Your mind is not your own. The voice in your head is not your own. You're just giving feedback to whatever's running it. The it in your voice in your head, that uses you. That's why I have 360 plus videos now showing the decodes. Many of you have a lot of decodes as well, showing how this source code's playing out. Mankind could never code this. Why would you sit? Do you know how long it would take to consciously sit there and code something? You'd never get anything done. I've looked at sports games and you can start to see things in the background, and then everybody in the background would have to be in on the conspiracy of the fixed rigged game. So you got people wearing shirts, you can decode that. You got spray paint on the wall, you can decode that. Everybody would have to be in on it. So it becomes ludicrous. These people saying that it's man's not rigging shit. They're being used. Who says the voice in your head is telling you the truth? You can go any way you want to go. If you want to kind of challenge that, go ahead. Get rid of truth and lies. Everything just is. So if you eliminate trying to describe the subject, everything just is. It's just the voice in your head. You can go ahead and start to label it any way you want. You could say that it's false. I'm downloading falsehoods. I got the truth. My way's the right way. You should listen to me because I got the truth. Says who? I say. The voice in your head owns you. Then you can add any adjectives you want on top of that. You can say, well, it's the devil that is running my voice, or it's God or it's Jesus that's running my head, or it's Archangel Uriel, or it's whatever. You can label it anything you want. Go ahead and do that. Use any adjectives you want to describe the subject, but the subject precedes the adjective, and the subject is the voice in your head owns you. I can't prove that, but you can't prove that it's not. So we're going to be at a stalemate. But when you start to decode and you start to see the source code, I know you're playing devil's advocate. That's fine. I mean, even the things in reality that didn't really happen are scripted. Like the movie that you watch on the television, is it real? Did it really happen? The actors really played their parts. They really acted out their screenplays. So yes, you can say that it's real because the actors were in a studio. They were on set. They were they were really there acting out their parts. There was really a car that went by. There was really stuntmen there. That really happened. But did it really happen? No, it's a movie. It didn't really happen, but it did. So it's a big contradiction. So even the events, the false, events, they really happened, but they didn't happen. So which is it? It's both. I wish I had the graphic for it. Let me see hold on one second. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. This is pretty big. I'm going to show all of you something. Let me show you how scripted, whether or not this was real or not, whether it really happened or didn't, it happened. Whether people acted it out or not, it happened. Because we're in a movie. Let me just pull this chart up. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna show you all something. Give me 1 second. So let me just pull this up. Okay, thanks for being patient, folks. So let me share my screen. Okay. So everybody, there's going to be a few words I'm not going to say. So I hope you're watching. So I'm sure that the majority of you know about this event, this thing that happened on the world stage. And there has been a ton of energy that has gone into this, continually goes into it. And there are people that dispute it. There are people that are for it, etc., etc. But when you look at the astrological chart for this, now the standout is this kid right here. Okay? What's the first name? Adam. Who's the first male in the aspects of theology? Adam. Okay? And then how old is he? 20. So you go to the sidereal chart, the astrological chart, and what you're going to see is, where's the 20th nakshatra? What's there? The destroyer, Pluto, with Mars and the moon. Now, I see somebody's comment, Matt Kubis, that was staged for sure. Well, Matt, here's the thing, my friend. You were not there. So your opinion is great, and I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm not saying that it did or did not, but you're saying something that is just going to come down to an opinion because you were not there. Okay? You're just purely speculating. You weren't there at the crime scene. You weren't there with any of the families. You were just reading the tabloids. So let's just be real here. Again, I'm not poo-pooing on your opinion, but that's all you're saying here is you're just giving me your opinion. But I'm going to go and say with this astrological chart, and I will once again tell you that it doesn't matter if it was real or not. The movie that you watch, the show that you watch today, tomorrow, is it real or is it a movie? It's both. Because there are real actors playing out real screenplays, reading real scripts with real directors, with real producers, at real locations, at real sets in Hollywood, etc., etc. So this is ridiculous right here. We have a kid who's 20 years old, and you come to the nakshatra, the chart for this date, and you have Pluto the destroyer with the moon, and Mars is just right there in the 20th nakshatra. I mean, really? You get Saturn, you got Kronos in the 15th nakshatra, which is the devil card, in its house, in house number 10. And then you get 26, I think it was 26, 26 people, and the 26s get Uranus right there in the sign of Pisces, which is the hangman, the 12th sign. The hangman meaning death, right there. You can't miss it. I mean, there's so much more to this. I was breaking this stuff down. They don't even have the guy's name. Let me see. Get one more thing here. I mean, everything can be broken down here, including this that was used. You can bring that into it. I mean, look, he entered room number 8. So we go to the chart. Well, what's in the 8th house? Cancer. What kills a lot of people on the world stage? Cancer. Okay? These are the things that we have to take into consideration. I wanted to try to find his name. Hold on, let me see. They had his name highlighted and now I can't find it to click on. Because I wanted to show you his birthday. I can't find it. But anyways, I was breaking this thing down and it's ridiculous. So, I've decoded the serial killer, Ted Bundy. You know what people say? Oh, he didn't kill anybody. I mean, is every serial killer just all bullshit? Nobody gets killed? It's all just fakery. Everything. Real people die, folks, in this reality every day. Real people get murdered. Real people get shot. There are real serial killers. There are real crazy people out there. Some of these events really happen. But you get these nuts. And that's the only word I can use. They're so into the conspiracy, they think they become so programmed, they think everything's fake. That's just using the sidereal, bring in the Western, and now you extend, and now I'm going to show you in the Western how that one's going to have its own say. See, Ted Bundy, I say, my opinion, Ted Bundy incarnated to be a serial killer. And there ain't any other way to sugarcoat it. It can't be. John Wayne Gacy incarnated to be a serial killer. Decoded Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, that didn't happen. O.J. Simpson, that didn't happen. Does astrological charts show that it did? People just love it. People are professional regurgitators. It's just hilarious. They just find something they hear and then they just spew it out of their mouth. They package it a little differently because it makes them sound a little intelligent. And there you go. There's what their truth is. And they don't do any research on their own. Well, because that was not real, because that was staged. You don't know what was staged or what was real. If you're not at the event, if you weren't on location, you're just regurgitating. That's it, man. That's a fact. That's absolute 1 + 1 = 2. Oh, well, my friend, he was a cop there, and you get these people. Online business question. Let's say Santos decoded himself every day, and on the day he realized that it wasn't a good day in his decode. He saw the death card and so on. So he decided to stay somewhere safe and away. Well, you could do that, I guess. Do you think people don't do that now? People look at their astrological charts, Mercury's in retrograde, and they're like, I'm not talking to people. I'm not going to do any commerce on Mercury in retrograde. People already do that now. But how do you control when I broke down Santos's event, he didn't know it was coming. And even if you knew the death card was in there, man, you saw the moving parts in the scripted reality 5 that I showed. It wasn't just, you can't just use one layer and say, okay, because if you get the death card, folks, if you get the death card in your reading, right? The notorious, the scary death card. It doesn't mean you're going to get stabbed or shot or taken out with a machete. It could just mean you may have the death of a habit. It could be that simple. Your friend could call you up and say, I don't want to talk to you ever again. That could be a death. Your cat could drown in your pool. That could be a death. See, there's so many layers to this. It's just impossible to try to dial it in and say, well, I'm not going to live my life because of this and that. Because the death card is going to show up in your charts. The death card is showing up in your charts right now as we speak. Everybody's chart, the death card shows up. Every single second of every single day, the death card's there. Because it's going to rule the 13. It's going to rule the 13th in the chakra. It's going to be, well, not rule it, but it's going to be tied to it. So it's impossible. I say it's impossible to try to figure out predictions and all that kind of stuff. There's just way too many moving parts. So, Mr. Poop, I don't know if this question's for me. If you go create reality, then why can't you change it? Who says transhumanism is 100%? I never said transhumanism is 100%. I hope if that's questions at me, I've never said transhumanism is 100%. I said it looks pretty damn inevitable that it is, though. The percentages are leaning towards that. I mean, do you use a Rand McNally map to get yourself around town? Do you go poop out in the bathroom with a flashlight and you got to go outside with a pair of slippers on? Do you wipe your ass with leaves? Do you have it? You're on this computer right now. You're on your cell phone, so you're using technology. Do you want to go back to a rotary phone? I would bet 100% out of you, not 99%, 100% of you would not want to go back to living in the 1970s. Not one of you would. Because it would interfere on the conveniences you have in your life right now. We're moving forward. We're not going backwards. Okay, it wasn't for me, so that was all for nothing. Sorry. Anyways. See, ladies and gentlemen, you got to realize if you take into consideration the time that we're in right now, 2023, and you compare that to, I was born in 1973, right? I hit 50 next month, 50-year span. If you compare 1973 with 2023, I mean, it's like night and day. And if you had the ability to look at the game of life from the spiritual realm and say, and you have the choice, do you want to incarnate in 2023 or do you want to incarnate in 1973? Which one would you choose? Well, see, that's hard to postulate because none of us are going to have that choice. And some of you weren't born in 1970s. But I mean, if you take all the things into context, you take in the cost of living and the prices of your cars and how much it costs for this and how much it costs for that and mechanics, and the car breaks down, the car's going to probably break down more in the 1970s than it is in the 2020s. Cars are more reliable now, more efficient, better fuel, longer drives, more comfortable, more economics. Televisions. I mean, look at the television that you use, the computers that you use. I mean, 1973, we didn't have this. The only thing that came closest, I had in television, and it had this round disc, and that was the disc, and it had buttons on there, and this is the remote control that was connected to a wire to play video games. That's the closest I can come to this device right here. ColecoVision, Atari, with we're getting away from that. We're actually moving into it now. You're becoming the VR. Instead of being on the outside, you're actually going inward to the VR now. Comic books, they used to be on 2-dimensional paper. Now they're on 3-dimensional movie screens. What's next? You think it's just going to stop there? And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, but like, you know, for me anyway, this is personally for me. Back in 1973, I was a kid. I was asleep. Even growing up, adolescent, going through school, I was a kid. I was asleep. I didn't have this knowledge. I didn't know how this reality works. I didn't have this knowledge. So you can't really compare when you were born and how you were grown up to right now and the wisdom you have right now, the gnosis you have right now. There's no comparison. Because if you were to be able to go back at this current age, if you could go back into time at this current age of your life right now and go back to when you were born, I'll bet 100% of you would not stay there. It'd be inconvenient to live in 1973 because you're used to 2023. You've conformed to the aspects of 2023. Trust me, having to do emergency breakthroughs and calling the operator and you get busy signals, that's a pain in the ass. Now, if you don't get somebody, you call them on Skype. You can text them. I mean, you couldn't text back then, man. You know how valuable it is to be able to text somebody because you can't talk to them because they're sitting in a courtroom and they can't take the phone call, but you can text them. And you just got to get them that message. You couldn't do that in 1973. Do you realize the value that adds? People don't look at this kind of stuff. And then when you're faced with it, that's a completely different story. Someone's asking a question about University of New Haven. Celebrate 322 years this October 9th. There's no such thing as coincidence. First and foremost. I don't think so. Everything happens because it's supposed to happen. I mean, when you start your car up, when your engine starts, is there any coincidences in the engine when you start it up? I mean, is there any coincidences in the belts moving? The timing belt? Is there a coincidence that the alternator belt's moving? Is there any coincidences that the battery's getting charged? Is there any coincidences that the pistons are pumping up and down to provide you the energy to move forward? Is it a coincidence that the wheels turn? Is it a coincidence that there's a steering wheel that you got to grab onto in order to navigate that car? Is that a coincidence? No. Have I decoded the movie Tron? I decoded a few off the new one, the one with Jeff Bridges, the remake, the 2014. I started to look at the 1982 movie, and that movie, you know what that whole movie's about? Going quantum. That's what Tron means. Jeff, in the remake, the Disney remake 2014, Jeff Bridges finds a way to go into the game he creates. Jeff Bridges finds a way to go into the game that he creates. He goes quantum. Then he wants to get out. Gets stuck in there. And then his son goes after him. What is his son's name? Sam. What is Sam? 314 in numerology. Sam is Samarium. Samarium is the life is but a dream. Let me pull some. Let me show you two tarot cards to get the picture. Let me show you this. And I'm going to bring mathematics into this. I'm going to talk about the number 43. Okay, the number 43. Maybe you have this as your birth card, or one of these as your birth card. So 43. I was just talking about this earlier in the spiders, right? In the medicine deck, if you're a fan of those, I hope you've done your totem pole. The spider card in the medicine deck is card number 43. The spider casts its web. If you go read about the spider card, the spider catches you in the web. What is the web? Time. The spider is a predator. You become its prey. It uses you as food. The 43rd card in the deck for the cards of illumination is the Four of Spades. This is the card of the dreamer. A famous name on the world stage who has this as his birth card, Hugo Weaving, who played Mr. Smith, the defender of the dream called the Matrix. April 4th, 4/4. 44 is tied to ruthenium, which is tied to the 101. 101 is the 26 prime number, and now you get your blood. 44 is gold currency. That's what we're being used for. Mankind's being used to operate this reality through the exchange of energy of love and fear. So this is card 43, the card of the dreamer. And then it goes into the tarot. Look at what this is. Here it is. It's the dreamer. So this is Hugo Weaving's birth card. The actor they casted to play Mr. Smith in The Matrix. This is his birth card. He is the defender of the dream. And since 43 is the 14th prime number, we then get into this card. The Ace of Clubs, card 14. Well, the Ace of Clubs, Aces is always the number, it's you, it's me, it's the number one. It's numero uno, it's the Neo. 14. What is 14 tied to in numerology? Time. The word time equals 14. So now you have 43 and 14. The dreamer in time. And it becomes the Ace of Wands. And this card right here in the tarot can be card number 22 or 23. And 22 is going to be tied to the Master Builder. 23 is going to be tied to Blood, Crown, and History. So you essentially, it's the cosmos going to sleep, the dream, and we go into a lucid dream. And you go into time. You go into time. And what is 43 plus 14, ladies and gentlemen? What is 43 plus 14? 43 and 10, 53 plus 3, 57. What is 57? Let me show you. So 43 is, let me just go to numberempire.com just to show you. So you go to 43, just so you can see it. There it is, the 14th prime number. Okay, what is 43 and 14 when you add them up? 57. Just like this. Because that's exactly what we're in, folks. You're in a damn dream. You're in a movie. Okay, this is what you're in. And you have this famous song. What did he walk up? He walked up the stairs. Truman walked up the stairs, did he not? Right there. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So, this is the card of the dreamer. Card 43. 43 is the 14th prime number. This is the card of you being stuck in time. It's now giving, this is the birth of the mind in time. And it's just very possible that we are all inside of a lucid frickin' dream. And that's it. It's not real. That's why all this that's why all this craziness happens. So instead of trying to figure out that was staged, that was real, that was not real, when you watch the show on television, when you watch your favorite show on Netflix or Amazon Prime, all these, and you watch it and you get emotionally involved with these characters and you're getting anger and you're crying, what do you get emotionally involved? It's not real because you can't tell the difference. You think it just stops in this reality? Oh, but he really hurt me. She really hurt me. No, nobody can do anything to you. Feeling wise, you got to do it to yourself. You got to make up the stories in your head so you can get emotionally attached to those stories so you can then feel with the emotions. But nobody can make you feel a certain way. You made me feel, no, I didn't make you do anything. You did it to yourself. This is how valuable these cards are. And I was taught they're from the devil, but they are, because we're from the human being experience. Let me give you another set. Let me give you one more. Let me do one more example. Let me show you. This is how beautiful this reality is. And this is why I postulated in my last, if you haven't watched my new series, I just released it called Decoding Shorts. I'll be going to be doing a lot more of these because they're easy. It's 7.5 minutes long on the word identity. That's you. Like, can I see your identification, please? But let me take you on a little ride here with the 31. Okay. So all of you have heard, and this is going to be in the context of the generalized aspect of this reality, not your partner, because I love using it for the partner aspect. I've always been a fan of it ever since I saw Fast and Furious, Vin Diesel, ride or die. Well, what is the general ride or die in this reality? What is it? It's not going to be your partner. It will be your partner if you put it in that context, but the general umbrella of the ride or die for all mankind, what is it? I'm going to start with numerology. And it's a 31. Do you see? It's not just 31, it's 314. 314. So we now have pi in here. What is pi? It's the perfect circle. It's this. And what is the 52? It's this. That's your ride or die. Okay? That's your ride or die. That's everybody's ride or die. And so this 31, when you go and bring it into the cards to take a look at it, to get the picture, here's the 31st card in the deck. Bam! 5 of diamonds. Card 31, it's the 5. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. What do you think rules over this reality? It's not physical. These mean above. The stars. They don't mean like in the pentacles. They're going to mean earth. But when you get the picture with the tarot, it says it all. So ride or die is 31, 314, pi, perfect circle, prison planet, 5 of diamonds. 5 is how many fingers you got. 5 is how many toes you got. 5 is the pentagram, inverted and right side up. And then it paved the way for the tarot, and it's this card. This one. The 5 of Pentacles. This is your ride or die. You know what this is? This is the prison planet. This is card number 69. 69 is tied to your brain, the right and left hemispheres of your brain, because when you enter the ride or die, which is the prison planet, which is Earth, it can get this way. Hard times ahead. That's the ride or die, man. You're riding, you're having a good time, or you're dying. Ride or die. And then the 31 is the 11th prime number. And what's the 11th card in the deck? The Jack of Hearts, the unmovable Jack of Hearts. Card number 11. 11 is tied to sodium. What is sodium? It's tied to our brains. The word brain equals 11. Jesus says, ye are the salt of the earth. A battery has the salt bridge. You have salt in your body. It's essential. Sodium chloride, essential for your body fluids. So this is your ride or die as well. A fractal down. You sit on the motherboard. And then that card, the Jack of Hearts, is this card. So the 31 is the ride or die, means the prison planet. It means Earth, and you incarnate down here, and now you become the Jack of Hearts. And the Jack of Hearts becomes this card. You know what card number this is? 48. 48, which is tied to cadmium, which is tied to Lucifer. Oh yeah, it is. Because Lucifer makes up the motion picture, the light bringer. And you know what this card means? Looking for love. Why would this card be looking for love and it's tied to the ride or die? Because this game needs frickin' players. So now this knight's over there saying, oh, who can come and fill my cup up? If you watched my Two Thieves Decoded, this is in the cross. This card right here is in the frickin' cross. It's one of the cards. It's the centerpiece, because when you incarnate into this reality, you become this knight. We become the Jack stuck in the box. This is the Jack. If you're not Jack, you're going to be Jill. And now you're looking for, when you incarnate, everybody here starts to look for love. It doesn't mean you have to go hump. It doesn't mean you have to have children, but it means you're going to look for love, and it means you're going to look for projects. It means you're going to look for acknowledgement. You're going to look how to, oh, look at me. It means you're going to look for acknowledgement from other people to shower your identity. And you can't help it because you're a little devil down here. This is how these cards work, folks. And what's 31 plus 11? 42. You know what the 42 is, right? The word reincarnation equals 42. The word fallen angel equals 42. Douglas Noel Adam came out with that book called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Life, the Universe, Everything. 42. Essentially, it's this. It's these two cards. It's hard times and looking for love. This is the yin yang of our reality. This is your ride or die right here. Which one are you going to pick? Sometimes you're going to have this. Sometimes you're going to be in a down spiral. Sometimes you're going to be depressed. Sometimes you're going to have stress, anxiety. Sometimes the circumstances in your life are going to suck. Sometimes you're not going to like it. Sometimes you're going to complain. But then when you get in the up cycle, maybe you got out of a shitty relationship and now you've been free for a couple of years. Now you want to go on the dating scene. Now you're doing this. You're looking for love. And you can't wait to fall in love again. Maybe you've had a project that you want to start. Maybe you want to open up a business. Looking for love. This is all about the game of life, folks. The entire game. Found from these two cards. Jack of Hearts and the Five of Diamonds. Ride or die. And I mean, ride or die. What do you think that knight's doing? Riding on the horse. It's just ridiculous, this code, when you know what you're looking at. And it is inescapable. You just got to have fun with it. And everybody's doing their part. So instead of pointing your finger, blaming, cursing, getting pissed off, going to fight, go fight. Go ahead and give all your gas away to all those energies on the world stage that will gladly accept your energy. Or you can take your power back and go create the utopia that you really want to see in your life. See, all of us have the ability to create looking for love, but a lot of people, you know what they do? This is the life they live because they're fighting the system. And this is what they get in return. Because the system right now, we're in the dark age. It gets ugly. So there's more of this than there is of this. And then you get into the 5 of spades, which the 5 of spades is like, I don't want to play anymore. People are at that stage. There may be a position where I've postulated this and this is just a opinion. But then you get into this card, the 5 of spades. And now you're like, I'm done. See them walking away? I'm done. I'm all done. I'm not playing anymore. That's what this card can mean. It doesn't mean it does mean that. But this, right, ladies and gentlemen, just use it in the context of this guy right here is the predators. This is the mainstream news right there. And you're like, screw the mainstream. I'm done. I'm turning my TV off. I'm not going to subscribe to your channel anymore. This is you in the background, backing away from the static on the mainstream. This guy right here represents the mainstream news. This is a perfect example of that. This right here, sharing news stories, telling people, you should be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. That does this, that does that. Just go do you. Go be the best little devil you can be. That is the best suggestion I can give anybody. Because your life needs improvement. Your life has, all of us, I'm talking into the mirror now, by the way, because I'm not excluding myself. Everybody has room for improvement to have a better experience, a better life, and to make your consciousness go up. But you know why you're not doing it? Because you're too busy blaming them. It's them, it's they, it's their fault. They're the reason why my life sucks. Okay, if you say so. You spend too much time blaming instead of creating. We got to stop doing that, folks. This is how we make the change. This is how we make the transition. What is someone's asking Garrus, what are your thoughts on the act of fully letting go? Well, first you'd have to define that. I don't know what your definition is of fully letting go. That's pretty vanilla. What do you mean fully letting go? See, folks, I mean, so Cheryl says we have free will to alternate an ending. See, I think this is a good point, but instead of trying so desperately to make the change based upon that script that you don't like, you see, the majority of people, and I've given this before, and I'm going to say it again, okay? Most people are planting food because they're afraid of food shortages. The variance is, what's the opposite? Plant vegetables and a garden because you love to have this fresh food in your life. Way different energy. So if I take that same example and I go with Cheryl saying we have free will to an alternate, and then we have free will to alternate an ending. But what are you trying to alternate? You see, if you eliminate the mainstream from your life completely eliminate it, I got people asking me to decode Andrew Tate. And that means you haven't eliminated the mainstream. You're still focusing on the mainstream stuff. No offense. I'm not saying anything bad, but I'm just saying it's like, you know, and maybe I'm not right. Maybe I'm full of it. I mean, I decode mainstream stuff, but I'm not focused on it. My purpose is to decode it, not because I'm reading the tabloids of these people. That's their movie, folks. And then they get paid for you to watch their movie. They are essentially in their movie, and then they get paid because you're watching their movie. Every time you regurgitate a story by these people, every time you share a news story about these people, anytime you talk on the phone, man, did you hear about this? You hear about that? You are literally giving them money. You don't even know it. So the very first thing you want to do, if you want to create an alternate ending to the game, if we have that ability to do that, let's just hypothetically assume that all of us have the ability to change the game through free will. Okay, great. So that would be a 1 + 1 = 2. Now, where are you getting your ideas from? Well, typically what you're going to do is you're going to look at what you don't like. You're going to look at what you don't like on the world stage, which is going to give you the ideas of what you do want to create, of what you do like. What if you eliminated the mainstream of what you don't like? Now what kind of creation are you going to come up with? People don't think in these perspectives. They need the dirty laundry to create from. They need it. It's their fix. It's their food. You see, person, I'm just speaking from experience. I rarely engage in anything mainstream anymore. And like I did earlier with the whole astrological sign, I'm just showing you the decode of it. I'm not getting emotionally involved with it. It's not dictating how I behave and act in this reality. Because as I mentioned to you, whether something is staged, whether something really happened, it's all part of the movie. All of it. So you might as well just say it's just one big movie and that's it. But see, people can't do that. They can't separate that. Just like you can't separate your emotions when you get tuned into the character on your favorite show and you get mad and angry and start crying, and you can't dictate your feelings because you can't separate what's real and what's not real from the screen you're watching through. So if you're going to create a reality, what does your utopia look like? I would assume everybody here wants to create a utopia. So what does your utopia look like, and where are you coming from energetically to create that utopia? Are you comparing it with what's going on in the world stage, or have you tuned that completely out and it's not affecting your decision to create your utopia? That would be my challenge to each and every one of you here. Turn off the mainstream. Get it out of your life, because you're just paying them. And you don't have to give them any money. You're just giving them your attention, and that feeds them. And it makes them grow. It gives them marketing dollars to get influencing more people. And you're part of the problem instead of part of the solution. The tarot card is the King of Clubs. The King of Clubs is the King of Wands, which is card number 35 or 36. Okay, it's going to encroach. What do I mean by that? In the tarot, there are, let me see if I have my graphics up. Okay, let me show all of you. So this spread right here is the most typical tarot spread there is. And it's going to give you the Fool here. Let me get my cursor out. It's going to give you the Fool here in 0 position, and they're going to put it in the 22nd position again. So it's twice, which means that this entire deck of cards is a total of 78 cards. However, if you go to this spread right here and you use the Fool in that same position, but you do not repeat it in the 22nd position, you then move the Ace of Wands into the 22nd, and all the cards move up. And this is why these numbers encroach. These numbers pair up. They bleed into one another. And it's going to extend your searches. So, for instance, here's the King of Wands, which is the King of Clubs. It's card 35. But of course, here, it's going to be card number 36. And which is true? Both of them. Using these layers of the mystical arts. And then the King of Hearts is the King of Cups. Card number 49 and card number 50. Card 50 here, and then card number 49 here. So it's going to be 49 and card number 50. You know, we were talking about the number 42, which is tied to the word reincarnation, which is tied to the word fallen angel. Well, this card is the Seven of Cups. This card right here is the choice. The choice is this is the illusion. This is illusions. You know who has this for their birth card? Bill Gates. Anthony Fauci. They both have this as their birth card. This card means illusions. Okay? It's choices, it's illusions. The Seven of Cups. Over here, it's going to be the Six of Cups. You know what card this is right here? It's tied to Christmas. Christmas. This is spirit coming down to play the game. Now you get chivalry. Now you get nostalgia. This card's about being a kid again. That's what Christmas is about. Coming down and being a freaking carbon-based 666 human being. This card. So it's going to be both of these cards. They pair up together. 6 and 7 pair up. And they become each other's number. But this represents Christmas right here. And what did I say? Fallen angel. It's tied to Christmas. So when you go ahead and celebrate your Christmas next year, take into consideration that you're celebrating being a fallen angel. Nothing wrong with it, because that's exactly what we all are. It's kind of unavoidable. Cheryl Williams, to answer your question, what if having an alternate ending is in my cards? Well, there's no way. Okay, so here's the thing, Cheryl. There's no way you can run parallel lives at the same time to see if you can prove that as a fact. A 1 + 1 = 2. You only just have this journey. Sure, you can label your journey as an alternate journey, but there's no way to prove it. There's just going to be the journey. Okay, so that's how I would answer that question. So, all right, so I'm gonna wind down, and I'm gonna take a few more questions. Then we're gonna do a collective card pull. Ashley, welcome out. You're a new subscriber. Thanks for your support. So here's a question: what are my thoughts on angels? Well, okay, so this is a good question. So if you want to check out angels and demons, okay, it's your spirit and your ego. All you gotta do is you look at the look at this right here. Here's your angels and demons right here, to make it really simple for you. Okay? Right here. This is where the majority of people spend their time. Down here in hell. That's why fire is red and orange and yellow. And this is where, if you want to use these descriptions of angels and demons, this is where the demons are, down here. The demons run your desires. The demons run your sex, your craving for sex, your lust, your love. Okay? It can't be angels running love, folks. That's the demons inside of you. The sacral and the solar plexus. What is the solar plexus? Your second brain, What is the demons running here? Feed me, I'm hungry. I want the pizza, I want the cookies. Feed me, feed me, feed me. Solar plexus, stomach. So these 3 chakras are owned by the demons, if you in this context of the story. And then what's the adversary of the demons? The angels, they're up here. Third eye, meditation, the crown, speaking your spells. And this one to me is kind of the ace in the hole, because you're going to speak what you want and it'll come from down here. But then you have the middle point. You have this point right here. This is home base. That's why the earth, if you go and look at earth, what's the dominant color on the world stage? Besides blue, it's green. Vegetation, grass, leaves, trees, it's green. Green is 20, balance is 20. Duality is 20. You're here in duality and you got both sides to play with. So if you live down here, where all the fun's at, okay, we just got to keep it real here and just have fun with this, because this is being authentic human beings. All right? This is where the fun is at. And most people spend their time down here. Service to their ego. This is where the ego is. Feed me, give me sex, let's procreate, let's have a baby. Like, I know there's love involved there, folks. But you know how many people are pumping kids out and they shouldn't be pumping kids out? Well, is that love or is that just all ego-based? Oh, come on. And then, at the bottom, the root, what do you think pops out when you sit on the throne every day? A little devil pops out and you flush it down the toilet. So you want to be here. This is going to be pH balance. This is where the blood's at. Slightly love, slightly angelic. Okay? And I'm going to show you the 2 cards in the tarot that represent the angel and the demon. So angel 17, okay? 17 is the 7th prime number. You got 7 chakras. You're a fallen angel. What are you going to give service to? That's the big question. Of course, I can't find the tarot cards. Oh, let me go there again. So, there it is, star, and then the 3 of Wands. Which I went, check out my short, my decoding shorts, the first one, it's the identity, okay? So you have the angel right there. Angel is 17 in numerology. There's the 17th card. Pretty self-explanatory. Chaldean. So what do you think links up with the tarot cards? Not English. It's not the full reduction. It's not the reverse ordinals. It's not the septenary. It's the Chaldean. So we're all stars. 17 is the 7th prime number. You get 7 chakras. Fallen angel. Okay? Then you have the demon. 25. 25th card. 3 of Wands. It's this card and this card. It's going to be these 2. Remember, the numbers encroach. So this right here is the casino, the house. The house always wins. The blood. And then if you just go to the 3 of clubs, this is the launching long-term plans. So when you become a fallen angel down here, when you come down and decide to play the game of life out, if that's even possible, like imagine you're up in the heavenly realms, you're from some star seed, you're from Orion or the Palladians, or you're from Sirius. Are you Sirius? Yeah, I'm Sirius. You're from Sirius. Or maybe you're from Aldebaran, or maybe you're from Regulus, or maybe you're from Antares or something. Who knows? There are billions. I mean, you look up in the night sky, countless of them, probably matching every single person on this planet 10 times over. And maybe one of those stars, that's your silver lining, you're connected to them, and that star is having a human being experience, and it decides to come down here and play the game, and it's the star that falls down. I mean, this is probably Sirius right there in the middle. And when you get down here as an angel, you then have to start to launch your plans. And now you become part of what do you desire? Now you're separate from the angelic being that you once were. You don't have a choice because now you're in this temple until you die. And as you move through time, you will sin. And Satan's going to get you because Satan is time. Is there really a boogeyman that's pulling the strings, that's got a pitchfork and got devil horns? And I've never seen such a person or such an entity. Have you? I've seen him in movies. I know people that conjure up demons and people that conjure up angels. So they're real in these people's lives. But in the context of what we're talking about here, what the hell are you doing here as a human being, folks? Why are you here? And people are so striving to get out of here, they don't even know what the reality looks like on the other end. Oh, this is my last lifetime. How do you know? Because you said? What if it's not? What if this reality is way better than the one that's out there that you go to, that you're so desperate to get to? You know, I had said this, I had postulated this, I went on a rant. I'm like, man, there's a waiting list to get into this reality. And the stars are looking down and like, oh my God, these people, ungrateful, bitching people, blaming this and that. And I mean, do you think the fish are in the water blaming the shark? No. The ants that I talked about earlier in my bathroom, they're not sitting there blaming the spider. I told you the spider was in the corner and the ants were doing what they got to do no matter what. They seemed like they were oblivious to the spider. They weren't letting the spider dictate their reality. That should tell you something. These mainstream things are not going to dictate my reality. I'm going to create my utopia, but I'm not going to create my utopia based on what you're there doing, because it's going to affect my utopia. Just like when you plant a garden, plant the garden because you like fresh fruits and vegetables. Don't plant it because you're afraid of food shortages. Way different energy. You're going to have a different outcome. I'll tell you that right now. Just be grateful you're here, folks. People are bitch and moan and complain and they're like, this is my last life and I'm getting out of here. And you don't even know what getting out of here even looks like. We may have like another, folks, let me tell you something. It's possible that the entire age of Aquarius will be the dark age. It's possible. And then what are you going to do about it? You're going to just do another 20 years of bitching? And it's them and it's they and it's their fault? Are you going to continue on that slide? Or are you going to take your power back and say, whether or not the golden age comes, I'm going to go create my utopia inside the collective? How about that? That's a way better alternative. So if everybody here in this podcast, everybody listening to the recording, you may not like me, you may not like the way I speak about things and how raw and visceral I am, that's fine. But just be authentic with yourself. Have you stopped blaming the organizations? Have you turned off the mainstream? And are you creating your utopia? Because we may have another 2,160 years of this, which we're not going to be around to see it. I mean, I hit 50 in February, next month. Like you could, I could say I'm halfway home, right? If I'm a good life, 100 years. But every day I wake up and I'm grateful for everything around me, even my trials and tribulations. Because it gives me the context to realize when I wake up and it's a good day for my health and I'm not struggling with, it's like, man, I'm so grateful that I'm feeling this way today. And I wake up tomorrow and I'm a little sore and stiff and like, oh man, this day's a little rough. But then I wake up the next day and I feel great. I feel alive. I get to go ride 5 miles today. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel grateful. instead of waking up and, oh my God, did you hear what happened, Betsy? Oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this and they're doing that and they're doing that. It's like, man, and you're just marketing for these people and you're just giving them all your gas and you're making them bigger and you're helping them grow and you're part of the freaking problem instead of the solution. That's where I stand on it. Are you part of the problem, or are you feeding the problem that you don't like, or are you creating a solution? See, most people, they just want their dirty laundry and they'll be okay with feeding the problem because they think it's going to go away by exposing it. You get enough people to create their utopia, it'll just smush out the dystopia. That's how you create a health. What do you think you do with a healthy body? Folks, just use your body as the example, okay? If you have shitty health right now, fix it. Some of you may be in challenging circumstances. You got to make do with what your circumstances are. Because that's the cards you got dealt. So get up and do the things you want to do to create your utopia in life. Instead of bitching and moaning and complaining and worrying and having fear and it's they're going to do this and it's them and it's they, and it's like, this is this mindset we need to get out of to create the utopia. So are you feeding the problem or are you creating a solution? Which is it? Which one do you give more energy to? And your body tells you exactly what it needs to do. Because if you wake up tomorrow and you get a sore throat, what do? Do you ignore the sore throat? Do you go scream at it and yell at it? Goddamn sore throat, no. Do you like, oh my God, what's going on with you? Then you call up your friend and then you know what you do? Oh, I don't feel good today. I got a sore throat. Guess what happens? Then they give you the energy because you got to just tell them about your sore throat. You just got to tell them everything about your personal life. And then they're going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I think you should take this medicine because they took it. And you may go out and buy the supplement. It doesn't do anything for you. You just wasted $20 because you listened to somebody else. Just listen to your freaking instincts. But the one point I want to get across is when your body's sick, you fix it. And how do you fix it? You fix it by creating the utopia. The body wants to be in a homeostasis effect, balance. Balance. Is your life balanced? Or do you live down here most of the time? That's where the mainstream lives, down here. They want to put, this is where all Mr. Smiths, they hang out down here. You want to be here, man. Because you can't get away from this. You just, it's heaven and hell. Black Sabbath said it great. It goes on and on. It's heaven and hell. So when you look at your body and your body is sick, it's acute. If you get a cavity, you go to the dentist. Otherwise, you'll pay the price of maybe getting a root canal later on because you didn't take care of it right away. Maybe that root canal is there to teach you a lesson. Or maybe you have to yank the tooth out to teach you a lesson. Part of your karma. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to shuffle these cards. I'm going to end this. What's your question? Appreciate everybody being here. Let's do a collective card pull. I'm not sure how many people are even here. I'm just focusing on the comments. So I appreciate it. Man, everybody being here. Thanks for listening to my rants. You guys know how I roll now if you've been here. So Justin says, really hoping we have the choice to stay. See, that's the thing, folks. Again, people are so fed up with their lives, but they're not doing anything about it. They're just complaining and pointing the fingers and bickering. They're not even making an attempt to create a utopia in their life. And they're doomed from that kind of way of thinking. So of course, you're probably more inclined to get the hell out of here. But, you know, I mean, I had said this before. I'm like, if we return to the golden age, if that's the possibility, I mean, and you were up there in the stars and you look down at Earth, and maybe it's not so amazing up there. Maybe it's way different. Maybe this is the ultimate game to come play, the ultimate movie to come be a part of. And you look down and they're like, do you want to go back? Well, which age is it in? Well, they're in the golden age now. Oh yeah, I want to be, oh my God, yeah, I mean, imagine living a life where there's, you know, barely any predators. It's very balanced. We're using telekinetic powers. We're moving things with sound. We're driving around in hydrogen-based cars. All these imagine that. Would you come back? I think the majority of you would come back if you knew that you would live it. You'd be born into a life that is the golden age. I think every single one of you would come back. But if you're just going to base your life and you're going to base it off of your life right now, and you don't really like your life, again, are you making a utopia in your life, or are you just continually feeding the dystopian world that you hate so much? And you're just wasting your energy, or not wasting it, you're giving it to them. So I just encourage all of you, like, turn off the mainstream, start to create your utopia. It's pretty amazing when you do it. Whew, all right. So one more question, and I'll get into the collective card pull. I'd like to hear your thoughts on eternal return. Well, I mean, I would imagine you're talking about reincarnation. See, if you know, would it be such a bad thing if you just reincarnated into a different character? Would that be so bad? See, none of us. Here's a 1 + 1 = 2 fact. That is true for every single human being listening, watching, everybody living on this earth. This is a fact. No one has ever died, gone to the next space, and come back and been able to prove that they went to another place. No one, other than an opinion. There's no proof. So it is just an opinion. People postulate about, I'm leaving this place. I want to get out of this place. And if you're one of those people, well, then I would probably say you don't value your life. And I know some of you say, well, my code sucks. My family members are attacking me. All these things you're going to come at me at. And a lot of it is because you're letting it happen. Well, I'm under their roof. Move out. I can't do that. Why not? See, you can't. It's always I can't. I can't do this. I can't. Make it happen, folks. Stop making excuses in your life, man. There's always room for improvement in your code for everybody here, because we may never get out. This may be your only shot. That's how I treat it. I treat this reality like this is it. This is the only shot I got. So I'm checking things off the box. You know, like, folks, health is wealth. You know, I'm not the spring chicken I once was. I feel things way different now. Challenges are way different now. Game changer things. So you don't think about these things when you're 20, 25. Oh, who cares about that? I'm not worried about that right now. But then you start to age, things start to break. Now, health becomes wealth. So it's a game changer. Then now you have to, you know, a lot of people don't make changes until they're forced to make changes. And then they complain about the changes because they got to make them and they don't want to do it because it's inconvenient for them. So take control of your life, folks. This may be it, man. Check all the things off the box. Treat the sucker like it's gold. It's your house. Right? It's your house. Pay attention to it. How do you brush your teeth? How do you eat your food? Do you chew your food enough? Is your digestion working good? Your bowel movement's good. Is your hair falling out? Is your skin aging? Like, what are you going to do to make improvements to make your temple better, to make this experience better so you ain't going around complaining and bickering that your life sucks? That's the attitude we got to get rid of. We got to get rid of the attitude of blaming people. We got to get rid of the attitude of blaming things on the world stage. Take that energy back and use that to create your utopia. Go build a community with like-minded people that want to create a utopia. That's how change happens. Not by going and fighting the resistance. All right, so we're going to get into the, let's get into the collective card pull. Let's do some Burning by King Buffalo. So the way this collective card pull works is I'm going to do 3 cards typically. We're going to do from the middle of the deck, the bottom of the deck, and the top of the deck. And we're just going to kind of randomly pull the cards, see what the tarot has to say. Collectively, we come together. You're going to have your own viewpoints on the way all this works. The tarot card's going to have its own viewpoints on the way this is going to work. Last week we asked, what are we looking forward to in the upcoming 2023 season? Somebody had requested maybe we do this based upon the next 3 months. We could do that. The next 90 days. What is coming down the pike? What is the energy going to look like coming in? Last week we had the Queen of Swords for the middle card and the Hermit card. The Queen of Swords being tied to the number 63. And the number 63 is tied to Christmas. And it's also tied to copper and the game of life. And maybe I was interpreting this. We may just be getting a new boss for this reality. I mean, what if that's the truth? Each age has a new boss. Think about that. A new boss to rule over. Because the age of Aquarius is ruled by, I know a lot of people it's Uranus. Ever since Uranus got discovered, it became the ruler of Aquarius. And it fits Aquarius way better than Saturn does. Saturn has the house of Capricorn. And cryptocurrency, Uranus was right in that 25th nakshatra. I showed the Genesis block 0 for cryptocurrency for Bitcoin. It was right there, Daddy Uranus taking the baton from Saturn right across the way. So there's a lot of merit to this. Not saying this is absolute, but there's a lot of merit to this with Uranus. All right, so we're just going to crank this music up a little bit. We're going to just think about, what do you see in the next 3 months? What is the tarot going to say? I've already shuffled them. I'm not going to touch the cards again until I pick them up off the desk. Okay? Being authentic, I'm not going to touch them. So don't worry, there's no cheating going on here. Okay? 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to come right back. All right. By the way, this is King Buffalo. The song is called Burning. Amazing tune, right? All right, so let's get to the 3 cards. See if we can't break this out and interpret what's going on here for the next 3 months. So we would have, January, February, March, maybe moving into April. And this could mean so many different things because the interpretation of the tarot can mean a lot of things. Will it mean something personal for you? Maybe. Maybe it will. And you can place these in the astrological charts for yourself, et cetera, et cetera. But let's go ahead and pick the deck up off the desk. And on the bottom, I don't do reverse, so it makes it easy. Queen of Cups. And this queen right here is the 48th card in the deck, and it's tied to looking for love, right? Remember, Not the 48th card in the deck. The 48th card in the deck. Excuse me, it is. So it's tied to the Knight of Cups through the Jack of Hearts, the Queen of Cups. So this is a very nurturing energy. So we have some nurturing energy coming in. All right, and then we're going to go to the middle of the deck now. And we're going to see if we can get a little bit of an extension on the next upcoming 3 months for 2023. So we're just going to go, and I'm going to get it from as much of the center as I possibly can. That looks good. Slide it up. And what do we have? The King of Pentacles. Okay, so the King of Pentacles, card number 77 or 78. So we now have a king and a queen on the world stage. 78 is tied to platinum, means little silver. So we can go in and branch off into alchemy. So we have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles typically represents the boss, the CEO, money. Does this mean that we're going to have, this could possibly mean cryptocurrency moving into in finalized form in the next 3 months? Bitcoin does turn 14 on the 9th, which is tomorrow, Monday. It already turned 14 on the 3rd, but it's got 2 birthdays, the Genesis block and then the actual initial release on January 9th. So is this what this means right there? Well, let's get the card in the top of the deck now. So we have the Queen and the King. Now we're just going to slide the card from the top. And we have the Empress. Okay? So we have 2 big female positions on the world stage. And the Empress, this card is card 3, tied to the brain, lithium, and the sign of Gemini. Let me put those in order. Let me just add these up. Hang on a second, folks. Okay. So we have 49. We have, see if we can get an extension on that. $49, $78, and 3. So we have it coming back as Xenon, okay, 54. This is more Lucifer, the light bringing the game, the changing of the game, but what do you see there, ladies and gentlemen? We have the starting point, the Queen of Cups, nurturing energy, the King of Diamonds, money energy, and then the Empress, which is a creation energy. So we have nurturing of money through creation. You could say that with this right here. The energy for the next 3 months. Nurturing finances through creation. This essentially could mean the finalization of cryptocurrency. I personally feel that cryptocurrency will really kind of make its mark on the world in 2023. But we do have 2 feminine energies here. We're moving back towards the feminine. The masculine is kind of what screws it all up. But maybe let's just get one more card to finalize this to see if we can get an extension. So we're talking about the Queen of Cups, which is a feminine, very compassionate kind of energy, feminine energy coming. The Queen of Cups, nurturing. King of Pentacles, all about the boss, all about money, all about finances, all about the King of the Earth through the tarot. And then the Empress card, all about procreation through the sign of Gemini, etc., etc. So the King of Pentacles sits in the middle of the disc. The Queen of Cups is going to sit in the house of Pisces, and then the Empress is going to sit in the sign of Gemini. So we got Gemini, Pisces, and then the very middle. So we have the Pisces 12. So we have the 123 plus the middle. Okay, so let's see if we can get one more card. I'm going to shuffle these. One more card to give us some more outlook on these 3 here. King of Cups, Queen of Cups, King of Pentacles, and let me just shuffle them here one more time. Let's pull. Okay, we'll do it right from the center now. Here we go. Well, you got my birth card here, the Eight of Swords, card 57, card 58. This is the Truman Show. So what is this telling us here? The extension of that. I just repeat, is that I don't think we get out of this game, folks. I think the game is going to change. We're going to be moving into crypto. Finances could be very challenging moving in with this Queen of Cups being more nurturing, looking at the financial aspect of that. But the King of Pentacles sitting in the middle, I mean, that's all straight up cash and CEO partnership. And then the Empress is creation. But is this cryptocurrency going to trap? Is the financial markets, is it going to trap and limit people in their reality even more? I'm gonna have to think about these three cards more, and maybe I will talk about these next week if I see something else. So it's definitely Xenon energy, 130, 187. Yeah, I think it's the starting of a new game. Last week it told us that it was the starting of a new game. The new game started. So what is it you guys see? Maybe you guys see something a little different. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. I'm sending you guys a ton of love from the Caribbean here in Mexico, where it's typically 85 degrees every day and sunny. So if you jive with that and you like, oh, that sounds pretty good, I want to go there. Well, the only thing that's stopping you is you. I know some of you like, well, I don't have this and that. Well, then go put it on your vision board. Go make it a reality for yourself, you know? Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Okay. All right. So let me just give you this song right here. I'm gonna play some Rolling Stones, a cover. I think this song's very fitting right here. This one. I think this is a very fitting song for everybody in this reality because everything just is. There's no right or wrong. There's no mistakes. There's no coincidences. Everything just is. So if you have no expectations, as Buddha says, you release the suffering in your life. Okay, so go create the utopia, ladies and gentlemen. Make it a paradise. So that's all I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. For Decode Your Reality, what's your question number 48? Sending you a lot of love. Thanks, everybody. Stephen and Pamela, thanks for being the moderators. Thanks for all your comments, your questions. I hope I could have gotten to everybody, but I obviously didn't. But I appreciate all your support. Check out my new series on the Decoding Shorts, 7 minutes long, something like that. And all of you that have started the Green Box Detox, day 1 is in the books. So we got 21 more days to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Till next time, we will see you later.
You might find you get what you need. I went down to the demonstration to get my fair share of abuse. Singing, we're gonna vent our frustration. If we don't, we're gonna blow a 50 amp fuse. And now you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. I went down to the Chelsea drugstore to get your prescription filled. I was standing in line with Mr. Jimmy, and man, did he look pretty ill. We decided that we would have a soda, my favorite flavor, cherry red. I sung my song to Mr. Jimmy, and he said one word to me, and that was dead. Yeah, now you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. Now you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need.
Bam!